All right, aloha, and thank you everyone for joining once again to another one of our Conscious Media Creator Dojos. This is a private, intentional space that we create here within the Paradigm Shift community, where week to week we are exploring specific themes related to our journey as conscious media creators, to be able to help support each other, to be able to help share wisdom, and to be able to help you, the person listening to this, to be able to step more into your role as a creator, to not only be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness, but also to be able to serve community and to be able to step into your potential. So this week's topic is about mastering content for Instagram and TikTok. So we'll go over just a bit of an introduction and set the intention, and then I'll do a little bit of a presentation, and then we're going to kind of open things up into some more group discussion a little bit earlier on. This is going to be a little bit different from the previous weeks. And before we do that, of course, we are joined once again by some fellow awesome creators here within the dojo today. So fellow creators, if you guys just want to gently unmute your microphones and feel free to say hello and wave and send some love to all the awesome people listening to us in the future. So love you guys.
Hello.
Beautiful. All right, thank you guys so much. Wonderful to be able to have so many amazing people here together. As always, my cat Shay will be co-producing, so if you hear some strange noises off in the distance, that's most likely her going through heat. So just another day inside the production studio. All right, so in terms of this Conscious Media Creator Dojo session, just getting things started. So we've had 3 sessions so far leading up to this one. And the first one was, again, about being a creator and embodying our why. The second one was about building community and earning income. And the third one was about facilitating events and live broadcasts. If you haven't checked out those events, I definitely do encourage those dojos. I definitely encourage you to go back and check those ones out as well, since there will be a lot of information in those that we may not necessarily hit upon today that may answer some of your particular questions. And with this one, again, I'm going to be talking on this one from my own experience of having used TikTok and Instagram. For Instagram, I've been using since, I guess, probably about more dedicated since about 2013. TikTok, I kind of hopped on to the TikTok awakening bandwagon back in about April 2020. And since then, I've had a lot of experience, and we're going to be talking a bit about just kind of the differences between TikTok and Instagram. And then from there, as well as some practical tips, and also being able to explore some of the questions that you guys have as well. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And yeah, let's just kind of get things started. So when it comes to mastering content for TikTok and Instagram, honestly, this is something that I think you can kind of begin to approach even from a philosophical way as well as a practical way, from a right brain side away as well as a left side brain kind of way, where I think the way of being able to master content for TikTok is actually the process of mastering yourself. And so that is really to be able to understand that TikTok and Instagram are essentially tools. So when it comes to being able to master your content, again, it's important to be able to gain clarity on what your goals are. How do you want to be able to use these tools? What type of community do you want to build? What type of services are you offering? So being able to figure out what it is that you are offering through these platforms is going to be essential for being able to help you get more clarity on what it is that you're going to be using them for. Side note, just because I'm kind of half distracted from the cat, so if I apologize, I skip over things. If you guys want to support the dojo and everything like that, I'll post the links into the Zoom chat, but all those are in the info for this video on YouTube, and DM me on Instagram if you want to join future dojos. And you guys are welcome to join on Patreon, single contributions for the dojo. And either way, thank you guys so much just for being here and for adding your support in all forms. And I'll put those links into the chat. But just moving along here. So just starting off, again, how do you want to serve? How do you want to be able to serve your community? And I think one of the things, just to be able to get started in the journey of being able to create on TikTok and Instagram, is being able to just kind of figure out what your niche is and figuring out your why, which is stuff that we've talked about in previous weeks here within the dojo. So if you haven't really gotten a niche yet, that's important just to be able to get a little bit more clarity on. And your niche could be quite broad or it could be quite specific. Your niche could literally just be hey, you know what? I want to be able to inspire and empower people. But the more kind of specific you can get within your niche, obviously that's just going to help you kind of more consistently reach an audience that knows what it is that they're getting when they come back to you. So say, for example, Mellisa, who I know has really been focusing on her breath work. When they think of Mellisa, they're going to be thinking oh yeah, that's Mellisa, she talks a lot about breath work. So being able to associate a specific idea in their mind with who you are as a creator is very important, because you become a symbol for the content that you create. So being able to get a little bit more narrowed within your niche is obviously going to help people begin to associate, and it's going to help you stand out a little bit more. Because one of the things, again, when you're on these platforms is that you are amongst, you know, like 1,000 other creators every single day, and people are just seeing and skimming by them. What makes them stand out? What make the creators stand out to you? And even just for those of you in the chat, I'll just kind of like ask you guys that, like, what makes you stop on a creator? When you're scrolling through on TikTok, when you're scrolling through on Instagram, why do you stop? Why do you get curious? Why do you look at that creator and just start to think, I'm curious as to what else they do? Or maybe I really resonate with what it is that they're creating, and I want to be able to explore a little bit more of what it is that they have to offer. So being able to, again, understand that in the process of being able to develop the communities and the success and the goals that you are striving for on TikTok and Instagram, obviously just being able to stand out is one of the most important things. But one of the things that we've talked about in previous weeks is to understand that the journey of being able to stand out on these platforms is really the journey of you being able to really just understand that your authentic self is your brand. And so if you're kind of feeling like, oh, you know what, like, it's okay if you just want to go into the journey of Instagram and TikTok not really fully clear on what it is that you are looking to be able to offer. But you can use TikTok and Instagram literally as a creative portal for you to be able to discover that. So don't think that you need to have like all of your ducks in a row and all your cards figured out just to be able to take that first step onto Instagram and TikTok. I think just being able to, again, use it as a place to be able to explore, use it as a place to be able to practice creating, use it as a place to be able to get feedback and begin to connect with those other creators, so that you can get a little bit more clarity on what it is that you want to be able to offer in your specific niche or your specific expertise, whatever the case may be. So there's a lot to be able to talk about that. And again, I apologize if like this one presentation wise isn't going to be fully as structured in terms of the previous presentations that I've done. But what I do want to be able to go over is just some of like the differences between Instagram and TikTok. Since, again, when we're using these platforms, essentially we are using them as tools. So in order to be able to understand how to be able to master them, it's important to be able to understand the differences between them. So I created a quick list here just to be able to go across some of the differences between TikTok and Instagram. Because once you begin to figure out like what each one is a little bit more tailored to, it may give you a little bit more clarity on which ones you want to be able to focus on. Because there are some people that are incredibly successful on just Instagram, and they literally don't focus on TikTok at all. And that's very empowering to see, because a lot of people think that you need to do both, when you really don't. Like, you can really just put all your cards into building on Instagram, and that's totally fine. And the reason for that is because Instagram has essentially begun to mimic TikTok. TikTok's success over the past year has really changed the way Instagram has begun to look. And now Instagram is essentially TikTok built into Instagram. But of course, what makes Instagram a little bit different from TikTok is the fact that Instagram is, in its roots, primarily made more for images, primarily made more for graphics, primarily made more for engagement through long descriptions in a post that goes along like with the graphics that you may be putting up. So if you're looking for something that's more just kind of like graphic oriented and everything, and memes and personal photos and showing people a little bit of your journey, that can be a little bit less strenuous in terms of the production, but a little bit easier to gauge on a more authentic, intimate, and personal level, Instagram is definitely good for that. And one of the main things that kind of stands out the difference between Instagram and TikTok right off the bat is also the idea that with TikTok, it requires a certain degree of production time. It requires a certain degree of effort and coordination and thinking ahead that goes into each and every single video. Because obviously, since TikTok is entirely video based, that involves being able to creatively find the ways in which you want to be able to create those videos, be it you being on camera, be it you using voiceover, getting more familiar with the video editing app within TikTok, which is something I don't think we'll delve too deep into today. I almost want to just do kind of like a more separate tutorial video on that. But obviously, like within TikTok, it does have the ability to be able to stitch into green screen and the effects. So you can really start getting creative with the TikTok editing process, which is incredibly cool. However, again, with Instagram is kind of more at times an ideal platform that takes less bandwidth to be able to maintain consistency with. And I think oftentimes what can be a struggle with creators, and you guys tell me if this is something that you relate to, is the idea that with TikTok, you know, you'll be like, okay, I'm going to create this video. I'm going to put a lot of energy into it. Boom, it's up there and it's awesome. And then it's like, okay, and now I got to create another one of those. Now I got to create another one. Now I got to create another one. And suddenly my lifestyle is changing. My schedule is changing. Oh crap, I don't have 30 minutes of free time. I don't have an hour. I don't have, like, you know, the time that I had before to be able to really be able to script this out. So in that sense, you know, it's understandable that with TikTok, I think kind of like works best when you have the bandwidth to be able to focus on it consistently with that level of production quality. Because when people come to you on TikTok, they come to you because it's oftentimes like not just, you know, the humor and the wisdom and everything like that, but it's kind of like the aesthetic of your production style that will keep them coming back. But at the same time, you know, on TikTok, you can absolutely have some videos that will go quite viral if they are even quite raw. However, TikTok doesn't always favor those incredibly raw videos. They usually favor the videos that do have a little bit more flair, a little bit more, again, kind of, if you use the editing software within TikTok, I think it actually favors it, opposed to just uploading something that's edited from outside of the platform, which is like kind of a little, at least that's my assumption as well. When you use their editing software, it tends to just kind of like push it a little bit further. So again, with Instagram, you know, Instagram and being able to choose when to use TikTok and when to use Instagram has a lot to do with being able to just get really honest with how much time you have available, what your energy bandwidth is like, and if you're just in a situation where you're just kind of like, you know what, like I'm going on, like this is honestly like me over the weekend. I'm going on a road trip with my girlfriend. I'd love to just kind of like keep people updated on this. However, the idea of like doing a TikTok kind of like on the go, I don't know if I have time for that. I'll have to kind of like be in the right headspace to be able to like make those TikToks because I want them to be funny or engaging, or I want to edit them, or I want to make movies and stuff like that. But at the same time, if I'm just with my partner, or again, whoever you're with, or if you're by yourself and you're just like out for a walk in the woods and you just kind of like feel inspired, take a quick selfie, take a quick picture, take a couple pictures of your surrounding and the environment, add a cute little caption, upload that. It's there. And again, in the purpose with like TikTok and Instagram and everything like that, what you're essentially trying to do is you're trying to maintain a presence within the audience's consciousness. So how you become capable of mastering TikTok and Instagram is not something where you just kind of like do it once and then you're gone for a while. The mastering process, again, depending on your goals, right? Because like it really depends. Like, is your goal to build a community? Is your goal to be able to make sales? Is your goal to be able to get like one-on-one clients? Is your goal just to be able to share art and to be able to inspire people? There's many different ways to determine how you're going to use the platform based on what your goals are. But again, if you're looking to be able to build community and build confidence between you and your community, then between you and your audience and your evolving community, then having that consistency is super, super important, because that way, you know, it's not just the fact that you're creating content, it's the fact that the people are coming across it again and again and again and again. And it might not be the first time where they're just like, whoa, that video was really awesome. And then, you know, maybe they don't follow you that first time, but then they see you again and they see you another video and they're like, oh, and it might not be until like the third or the fourth video where they really start to get interested. So again, that's where like with TikTok, having that consistency is super, super valuable. And it's not to say that you can't take a break and come back at another time, but I think TikTok works best when it's something done where you're just like either, okay, I've got like, I know that within the next 2 months, I've got enough time to post maybe like 3 or 4 videos a week. And you kind of commit to that. And you really just kind of like move forward on that path, and you make the process of producing those videos a part of your job. Because again, you know, your role is to be an ambassador for your content. And oftentimes with the TikTok and the Instagram, it's not even so much the idea of like, again, what you're doing is you're creating value for the people who are watching. You're entertaining them, you're inspiring them, you're empowering them. But it's also the idea that, again, you know, it's those one-off videos that are serving as an ambassador for all the other things that you have to offer. You might be able, like, you might have like so much like rich content. You might have an entire podcast. You might have an archive of all of these meditations. You might got a private Patreon. You might got some like individual coaching and things like that. If that's not being seen by anyone, then it's just sitting there. So what you're doing with the TikTok and the Instagram is you're serving as an ambassador. You're like, hey, like podcast, like you stay here. I'm going to go bring some people to the party. And you run out over there and you wave your arms around on TikTok and do a little dance. And you say, look at me, look at these awesome value that I'm providing. It's over here. Come back this way. Come on. And you're like inviting, it's basically kind of like that. So like those little videos that you're making on TikTok, as much as, again, depending on what they are, absolutely, they can be totally focused on just like the value of that specific video. But it's also understanding that every time that you create a TikTok and an Instagram, but really specifically kind of a TikTok, but also Instagram Reels now, is to be able to kind of like extend that branch, invite people back, extend that branch, invite people back. So that's why with TikTok, theoretically, when you apply certain tactics that we'll get into a little bit later in terms of like how to make viral content, the consistency of that and the more you do that is really just kind of opening up this again space within the algorithm for you, for it to be able to start showing you to more people and bringing them back in. So having that consistency with whatever platform you are using is incredibly important. But again, more than just consistency, it really is about being able to focus on the quality and not just the quantity. And I know you guys have come here before and you've heard that before, but with the quality, again, you really want to be able to focus on the emotions, like what emotional response are you bringing up within people? Because I think oftentimes the emotions are the things that are going to draw people in. And oftentimes, you know, like when you're just kind of like scrolling through TikTok, you might see something that might just kind of be like entertaining and funny, but you'll probably like, you might not even follow that person. You might be like, oh, that was funny, flip to the next channel. Oh, that was cool, flip to the next channel. But when you have like a piece of content that might be like a personal story or an emotion, even like mystery and intrigue, sometimes the emotion may even be something where you're creating, where you're offering like a polarizing opinion or something like that, something that those people might not agree with, so to speak, or just kind of like offering your own perspective on what may already be a polarizing situation. Not that you're trying to create more polarization, but again, you're kind of like tapping into something that people care about. And then obviously like that in itself is something that's going to bring people back. So when it comes to like the TikTok and the Instagram, the people are going to come back not just because of the emotional engagement, but they're also going to come back again because they get to know you. They get to be able to relate to you. They get to be able to understand your story. You're not just like a brand logo. Like you are a person. You are an individual. You have a journey. You have a lesson that you are continuing to learn through. And so I think, again, as you kind of like open up to more of your authenticity and even your vulnerability, that in itself is going to open up the door for more people to be able to see you as an emotional being, and then thus to be able to relate to you and to be able to say, oh, this is a real person. And there's actually some similarities between their journey and my journey. So can you share aspects of your journey that are going to relate to other people, and then for them to be able to feel not only intrigued, but in some cases to feel comfortable in your digital presence, to be able to say like, oh, like this person feels familiar. This person feels relatable. I want to stick around. This is, again, you know, every single thing that we're creating here within the digital matrix of online communities, you can think of it as like your sacred space, something that we've talked about before. So like your TikTok and your Instagram profile is your little digital sacred space. What does it feel like for people to be able to see your video pop up in their feed and for them to be able to be like, ooh, like, oh, I love when I see their videos. Oh, they always make me feel a certain way. Oh, your videos always make me smile. You know, oh, they're always just what I need right when I need them, sort of thing. And so, you know, I've had people like that where they've said that, where because of the stuff that I posted, because it's kind of like meant something to them. And they don't always tell me about this, but every now and then they'll say like, oh yeah, like I always look forward to your new video. And it's like, why do you look forward to it? It's because they feel like, again, you know, the previous ones have meant something to them in an emotional way, and there's like a degree of quality within the production, and there's a bit of an expectation in terms of knowing that the future things that I post will speak to their heart in a similar fashion, will invite them into the vibration of the digital space that I am creating. And that digital space that I'm creating through my personal content, as an example, is a space that I create to be uplifting, inspiring, funny, lighthearted, at times serious, you know, intentional, meditative, reflective. So you can have like all these different ingredients in terms of like what it is that makes your space feel like it is. I'm just going to keep going through here in terms of like the differences between the different platforms and stuff. And again, guys, honestly, like this is practice for me here. If it sounds like I'm winging it a bit and piecing the ideas together in my head, it's because I am. We're kind of like talking about this as we go. But there is, again, I do have my list of notes that I'm just going to kind of read over, and I'll just kind of go through that real quick. And then I want to be able to just like open up some questions and open up some discussion in terms of, again, just kind of like the ways that you guys have experienced your relationship with these patterns, with these platforms, I mean. So again, differences between Instagram and TikTok. So Instagram is more focused on images. It's got the carousel, so you can include like the multiple images within single posts. You can use those to your advantage. Great for graphics. It's great for memes. It's great for personal photos. It's great for showing people who you are in a way that doesn't require the same degree of production time that is often demanded through the process of being able to use TikTok. Instagram focuses more on description. State the obvious. You can include a longer description within your Instagram. Oftentimes you've seen a lot of people, they master those descriptions, man. Like those descriptions, like those are places where you can really hit it home, man. Again, that's something that like I play around with it. I do my best with it. There have been times where like, you know, I would literally write mini essays in those descriptions and people would read those. Like people would literally read those. And that's where, again, you know, I'm sure there's like other influencers and stuff that would be able to tell you more about being able to like really optimize how you write those descriptions. But I think it's just knowing that those descriptions are a place to be able to share stories, to dive a little bit deeper, to be able to ask questions. And then within that, again, to be able to create that call to action. I just kind of with what I've been seeing and stuff like that, like I know like Mellisa, you've been utilizing the descriptions and kind of like shared more about like your stories, and everything like that. And I think that's been a great job because again, you know, like you create like an image that's like, whoa, this is cool and everything like that. But if the person's already at that point where they're curious, well, what else do they have to say? I'm not just here for the image. I want to go a little bit deeper. And so again, you know, the person begins to expect that within the description, there's something to read. It's not just, you know, one line and hashtags. Sometimes it is, and that's okay. But when you can create that relationship where you're basically telling your audience, hey, you know what? I'm going to make the space within my images, just within my descriptions on Instagram, I'm going to make it worth your time. I'm going to use it as a space to be able to share a little story that is going to be something that's going to move your heart. That's going to give you an opportunity to be able to reflect. That is going to be a place where you can even serve like prompts for them to be able to see themselves within again. So the TikTok obviously is just video. And TikTok is more kind of like designed for viral content. You think about the idea that, you know, people, and Mellisa, I'll get to those questions in 2 seconds. Do you think it would be more effective in keeping people's focus on your post if you made slides with text versus putting in the caption? That's one of those things where, again, you know, like I think there's a lot of experimenting when it comes to TikTok or when it comes to Instagram. I think at the same time, like being able to take kind of like like short phrases within your description and maybe turning that into like a graphic that someone would be encouraged to share to their IG story is actually a good idea. I think that in itself is kind of like a good way to be able to build your audience, is to be able to, I've seen this happen before where someone would like create like a cool post, and then on the next slide it would be like a caption, and then on the next slide it would be the same caption with a different background, and they would have like 4 or 5 different background options just as a prompt for people to be able to be like, oh, this is a cool little phrase, I want to be able to like share this to my story. Which again is one of the big differences between Instagram and TikTok, which I'll get into in a second, is the idea that it's more designed for being able to kind of like redirect people from one profile to the next through the process of utilizing stories. But just going back to what I was hitting upon, and Mellisa, thank you for the question. And again, guys, I'll just kind of like run through this and then we'll open up some discussion just after I get through this list. So TikTok is really designed more for content to be able to go viral. You know, like TikTok is the reason why it's kind of blown up is again, you know, it really serves as this platform where people who never had any following before can create a video, and that video can just go astronomically viral. And then suddenly, you know, they've got like an entire community and everything built around that. Not to say that's the only reason that you want to use TikTok though, again, right? Something we talked about in previous dojos is the idea that popularity and success are two very different things. And how are you utilizing that success? How are you utilizing that popularity to be able to direct people towards the places that you want to be able to go? So understand that, you know, people browse TikTok different from how they browse Instagram. When you think of people browsing Instagram, people are actually more probably in a quiet space. TikTok kind of gives you the option to just be able to not have any noise coming out of your phone unless you want to be able to listen stuff. And it is a place where people are going to be more prompt to read, more prompt to be able to look into the artists that they're creating, more prompt to be able to kind of like explore the bios and click on links and check the stories. So TikTok, Instagram is a little bit more of like the frequency of Instagram is a little bit slower. It's a little bit more just kind of something you can just kind of like chill out to. Whereas TikTok is something that people just kind of like go through almost kind of, I think of TikTok in a lot of ways, kind of like back when we used to watch real TVs where you just flip through channels. You're just kind of like next, 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 next. And it's not always like people that you follow, so to speak, but it is just kind of like really just kind of like boom, instant entertainment, and then on to the next, on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. However, again, you know, depending on what the person's individual feed is, it depends on how they're obviously going to be using it. And I think every single one of us here, again, we're kind of creating content that is here to be able to serve people, that is going to be able to direct people further towards community and engagement and everything like that. So our content is a little bit different. There will be content that is just kind of like meant to be like fun and goofy and entertaining and again, just kind of like that super like high vibe and everything like that. But at the same time, you know, we will have content that is just going to be kind of like a little bit more low key, a little bit more just kind of like a slower rhythm, more of the invitation for them to just kind of be able to like read and slow down a little bit more. So the difference in the algorithms between TikTok and Instagram is quite different. But again, it's changing. Like the algorithm with TikTok changes all the time. Same with Instagram. And that's where, again, you know, like back in the day, if I were to have told you like, oh, this is everything you need to know about the algorithm for TikTok, it would be different now. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, it's about watch time. It's about utilizing hashtags and utilizing hashtags that are a mix of popular ones versus ones that may be a little bit more less niched, so to speak. And then also, again, it's the watch time, and it's also the comments and the likes and the shares and the engagement there. So the other stuff that's different from Instagram obviously allows the upload of IGTVs and the process of reels now. And some reels on some profiles can be 60 seconds. Sometimes they can only be 30 seconds depending on the profile. It's kind of like rolling it out slowly, it seems, not with every single one. IGTV is obviously a beautiful feature within Instagram, and that's obviously a little bit different than TikTok because your lives on Instagram become IGTVs if you want to be able to save them. And IGTVs can also include links for other content. So you can drop down from the top of an IGTV live and that can include a link. So that's a little bit different compared to a TikTok. TikTok lives I find are kind of good when you just want to be able to like chill out and not really worry about the recording. Like you can just kind of have dead air. You can just kind of be like staring and reading comments and just kind of like really, or even just like going for a walk and putting the phone down when you need to and just kind of hopping on and off. The IGTV live should be a little bit more kind of like professional. And by professional, I mean maybe just, you know, having the camera locked off, having a clear introduction and a clear conclusion, and just kind of like really specific on what the purpose of the IGTV is. Whereas TikTok may just be, and I've used this before on TikTok, where I would just like put my TikTok live on and go for a walk in the woods and just kind of talk to people. And that was great because that was very powerful for just being able to like build relationship with community members. And then again, you know, with TikTok and Instagram, with TikTok, essentially TikTok is like the gateway to Instagram. In some cases, you know, people will find you through, this is where like, again, you know, if you just have Instagram, that's great. But if you're focusing on TikTok, if you have the bandwidth to focus on TikTok, it can be great because you might have those videos that do go fairly viral. And then those TikToks lead people to your Instagram. And then through there, that's where they can gauge a little bit further. Through there, that's where they see a little bit more of the intimate stuff, and they see the stories, and they see like the questions and the prompts. So again, you know, like someone would find you on TikTok, and then through there, they have the invitation to get to know you a little bit deeper through the Instagram. And through the Instagram, it is kind of like that next layer of offering, while still being just as valuable as the TikTok itself. So both do allow desktop uploads. Not a lot of people know that, but you can upload from desktop to Instagram and TikTok, though the features on both are a little bit limited. But it is helpful to be able to upload longer videos from desktop to Instagram, and then you can post them as IGTVs. So essentially anything that you may be posting to YouTube, you could theoretically post to Instagram as an IGTV. And again, that's where IGTV can essentially serve as an archive. Whereas again, you know, like TikTok and everything like that, some people may go through your profile, but with an Instagram, I do find that like Instagram can be a little bit better to just kind of like serve as like a living vision board, so to speak, and a place where you can, again, kind of have those longer videos where if they want, they can go and scroll back and check that out. Yeah, Instagram is more personal, different style of browsing. IG stories are obviously a big feature that aren't a thing in TikTok at all. TikTok, I mean, unless it might have something soon eventually. But yeah, Instagram stories is great. And Instagram stories is great for just, again, being able to kind of like feature specific things that are happening within your community, such as upcoming events, such as upcoming, again, offerings, directing people to your profile link, kind of just prompting them with questions, prompting them with surveys, prompting them with polls, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of different creative ways to use IG stories. With any of the content here, again, I think one of the best ways is just to really be able to kind of like study the different creators that are out there and kind of like see the different ways that they're using, and see, you know, which creators are successful in the ways that they're utilizing the platforms, and then kind of finding your own way to be able to utilize it similarly while still adding your own style to it, as simple as that is. So again, the difference between Instagram and TikTok is definitely the level of production involved. Not to say you can't put a lot of production into Instagram, but TikTok generally does require a little bit more production time. And that's where some people, they either just like fully commit to TikTok and say, I'm going to get this thing off the runway, I'm going to blow this thing up. Or some people kind of like start off on TikTok, and then they just find that, you know what, this isn't really blowing up for me. This isn't really serving quite how I need it to be. I'm just going to focus on Instagram. And then they just focus on Instagram. So again, I think TikTok, if you're just posting casually, if you're just doing it for fun, that's fine. But if you're really doing it for business, it's very important to be able to kind of have like a good enough runway ahead of you, meaning like at least like a month or two, where you can really just dedicate a consistent amount of time to TikTok, where you're uploading maybe like 3 or 4 times a week. And if you don't have that bandwidth, that's okay. Again, you know, I think that's where, even if you are just uploading to TikTok just for fun, that's fine, because you may find that the creative tools in there are more to your liking, and you can always re-upload from TikTok to Instagram. And who knows, your TikTok is always something that you could go back to. And that's kind of the thing with TikTok, where it's a little bit different from Instagram, is that it's very much like a dice roll. And if you just kind of like create enough content with some tips that we'll go over in a bit, then it seems more than likely that eventually your content will just kind of pick up at some point. So with TikTok and with Instagram, it's important to be able to reflect on how you're capitalizing on the engagement. What are you doing with it? Are you directing people somewhere? So rather than just saying like, oh, sweet, like one of my videos went viral on TikTok, it's like, what do you have in place to do with that attention? You know, so this is where your profile links are incredibly important. And the profile links is where you get into your link trees, your beacons, your snip feed. Having those is so key, to be able to have those set up in a way where they offer whatever offerings you have, whatever value you're being able to put forth into the community. And through there, you can also link to your YouTube specific playlist, you know, like maybe an ebook, whatever the case may be. However, you won't be able to have a link within your TikTok profile until you have a certain amount of followers, though that number seems to change. And the big difference, obviously, with TikTok and Instagram is that with TikTok, you can't have a live until you have 1,000 followers on TikTok. So there is, again, kind of a bit of a runway with TikTok. But if you're really feeling the call to it, it's definitely something to be able to utilize, because with TikTok, with like the right kind of techniques, there's a chance that like stuff could just like really kind of blow up there. with Instagram, it's, again, honestly, guys, like these platforms, like as much as we can kind of like talk about them and I can talk about them, there's still stuff that even to me is very mysterious. And it kind of changes from profile to profile. And even with just the way how like censorship is becoming a thing, it's hard to say, like, you know, like what may work for one person may not necessarily work for another profile for various reasons. Even on my Instagram, like I reached 18K on Instagram, like I think like a few years ago, and my profile is still at 18K. Like it kind of like went up there, and then basically the way how my like my analytics shows is that like every week there's like people leaving and people joining, and it always just levels out. But at the same time, like the people leaving is like sometimes they're like old accounts or they're dead accounts, and then new people join and stuff. So like I don't really get too caught up in the numbers, is my point. It's really, again, with either platform, the key thing is really to be able to understand that every single person who is watching you is an individual being, is someone who you are having a direct conversation with. And so when it comes to, again, mastering this content, it really begins with mindset, and really being able to emotionally kind of like prepare yourself for the type of content that you want to be able to create, because your energy that you bring into the video, into the posts that you're writing about on Instagram, like that is what will determine who is attracted to your content. And it really is a vibrational frequency thing. So when you approach your content in a way where you're not getting too caught up in the numbers, you are being an ambassador for your content, and you obviously want to be able to reach more people so it can serve more people and invite people back, which is what we've already talked about. But to really just be able to understand that each and every single video you make, each and every single post that you put up on Instagram is a personal conversation between yourself and that person reading it. And how can you make that feel more personal? So that's where, again, it can really start to grow when you start opening yourself up to a little bit more of like what can sometimes be considered like the vulnerability side, or just like the intimate side. But at the same time, just kind of like inviting them to be able to say like, hey, come along for this exciting journey as well. So TikTok takes a bit more, but it can definitely have a bigger payoff. But again, even with Instagram, I think if you're utilizing all the different tools on it and doing it in such a way, there's definitely, both of them serve in a very powerful way for you to be able to create those like meaningful, intimate, one-to-one relationships with the people in your community. And then those people will become your clients, your monthly membership supporters, your event organizers. So whatever it is that you're focusing on, focus to the best of your ability in a way where you can give your presence wholly to that content. Even if it is just for the period that you're creating it, even if it is just for the live, because we got a lot of other stuff that we need to do today and you know, throughout the week and everything like that. But do it in a way where, again, you know, like when you are there, people feel like they are there with you. People feel like they are seen. People can tell if you're just kind of like on here just because, you know, you're just trying to like get popular. And again, I think within the conscious community niche, it's kind of like making sure that we're keeping this balance of kind of creating things that are like trendy, but then also just maintaining the presence within our work and really being able to reflect on, be like, well, why am I making this video? Yeah, I'm making it to be able to entertain people and everything like that, but I'm creating it for the bigger why, which is, again, to be able to help assist them, to be able to help serve in the awakening of consciousness. And we do that through these one-to-one, not just pieces of media, but literally these one-to-one conversations that we are having. So every single post that you create is a conversation that you're having with those people. So just being able to kind of like really get into that mindset where if you're having a conversation with someone who you cared about, would you kind of be there while also kind of like half kind of thinking about something else in the background and think about, you know, like if what you got to eat later and things like that, for their respect and for the respect for yourself and the respect for the relationship. Again, just really being able to be present with them. So in that sense, you know, it's important to be able to be consistent, but it doesn't mean that you literally have to post like 5 times a day. Because I think if you can really just get a little bit more clarity on like on why you're using the platform and what that emotional relationship, what you want it to feel like with the people that you're reaching out with, that you're connecting with, then that will be felt, that will be seen. And then again, kind of playing with the different styles and the trends to be able to, again, just kind of like branch things out a little bit further. So the other thing, just in terms of like different features between TikTok and Instagram, and with TikTok, TikTok has a creator fund where you can like earn money through that. I'm not an expert on that. I know some people have used it. Some people recommend not using it. Instagram has a new feature called badges, which is pretty cool, where people can basically purchase like $2 or $3 or $5 little like icons during a live. Those aren't available for all profiles though. It's not available for my profile, for example. But that's something that can be pretty cool if you guys get that eventually, because then you can literally do lives and people can basically just like easily donate on the spot. And that's like a pretty cool way to be able to earn revenue there as well. So yeah, that's kind of most of the stuff that I just wanted to be able to hit upon. And that's just basically, again, just kind of like going over some of like the differences, juxtaposing TikTok and Instagram before we kind of like dive into more of like the additional tips. But yeah, TikTok, Instagram can use polls. I know TikTok can use polls now more too. Yeah. But again, focusing on being able to like create something that's really just going to be able to allow the audience to be able to relate to it, because when they can relate to it, then they're going to want to be able to come back to it. Because you want to be able to focus on how it's going to make them feel when they're in the presence of your digital space. So every time they come into your video, they're entering into your space, your sacred space. How does that make them feel? And so if that space is something that, again, can become a reflection of how you're bringing that energy into that space, then that will go a long way. So just being mindful of the energy that you're bringing into that space. Okay, let's just take a moment here because I want to just be able to, again, kind of like go over some questions. And then there are some tips here that I want to be able to go over in terms of just being able to, like, if you do these, you will go viral type thing. And with those tips, again, like even with those, like it's kind of like, we'll talk about it when we get to it. But again, our goal isn't necessarily to go viral. Like that's not necessarily like what we have to do on the platform. So different people are going to kind of use it in different ways, obviously. Okay. We did have some questions earlier. Were there some new questions? Let me just take a moment here. Do you think it would be more effective in keeping people's focus on your post? Oh, okay, I already read that one. Okay, cool. All right. Well, let's just kind of like open things up here because I want to just be able to, before we even just like get into questions, I just want to be able to invite you guys to be able to practice sharing some of your wisdom in terms of how you use these platforms and things that you've kind of like developed just intuitively over the years, or maybe things that you've heard from other people. I mean, if you were to literally just like YouTube search, like, you know, like tips for TikTok and Instagram, you'll find stuff. So, I mean, I'm not saying like anything that we're talking about here today in variations, you can probably find it in other videos. But again, let's just practice using this space just to be able to speak from our personal experiences in terms of how we have, again, been utilizing these platforms. And for the people listening to this who may be a little bit newer to the platforms, I'm sure there will be some, again, just like some valuable insight that you'll be able to incorporate into your journey. And it really is like, the TikTok and the Instagram thing, it's a journey, man. It's a journey, and it's going to look different depending on where you are at your life. Like there are times where I'm just like, man, like I wish I just had like 100 million hours to just like totally dive into TikTok, and what would that look like? But realistically, like that's not necessarily the case. So I mean, even for me, like, you know, like I'm kind of like not using TikTok how I used it previously. Like there was a period where when I was using TikTok, and again, I'll just talk here just for a minute, and then I'll open up to you guys and just like let you guys like tell me like, what is your experience like using TikTok? We'll start with TikTok first, and then we'll just kind of get into Instagram. But yeah, again, for me, using TikTok when it started for me was really exciting, because for me it became I approached it like a game. And the game was to be able to create fun, engaging content that was also creatively like igniting for me. Like it was something that like I would want to do, something that I was like, oh, this is a creative idea. It was like sketch comedy, and it was like drama class for me, where I would just kind of like have all these goofy ideas, and it would give me a place to be able to direct them and focus them, while also, again, just being able to speak on things that I was really passionate about, and finding things that, again, you know, were like sought after within the niche, within the community that I was focusing on. So that's where, again, within a lot of the TikTok and a lot of the spiritual community, you get like 1,000 videos about like activating your third eye and stuff like that. And you could make a video about that too. That's totally fine at the same time. But for me, you know, like I wanted to be able to kind of like make things that were a little bit different. And I was really using my TikTok and my Instagram to be able to build a community around, again, kind of like this mythos of the light guardian, and inspiring people to be, again, to see the real world superhero within them. Hence, again, kind of like coming onto it as Mystic Spider-Man, and to incorporate like that style of what I was already doing on YouTube into the TikTok, and just kind of introducing myself to them and being silly and being goofy. And then also, again, kind of like leading up to events, speaking on real-time issues. Yeah. And then over the past like few months, like I still hop on TikTok now and then. But TikTok for me is kind of like, it's kind of one of those things where right now, like, I feel like I would really need to be able to kind of like focus on it in order to be able to pick it back up. Like my TikTok has kind of like, I haven't been using it quite in the same way. And now like the views have substantially dropped. So it's like, in order to be able to get those views up, I gotta like either just like create quite consistently, or really just bust out some bangers, man, or whatever that means, and really just kind of like get some super cool content. And that takes brainstorming. It takes, again, just kind of like meditating on that. And I'm confident that I can do that. But at the same time, just right now, like I know within my reality, it's just kind of like, I just got other stuff I got to focus on, man. And that's okay. So yeah, I love TikTok. I love exploring TikTok. I love seeing the creativity of TikTok. I love using it for like humor and witty stuff and trends. I love being able to like blow minds and plant seeds and create like relatable content. And I've had a few videos go viral on TikTok. Like my TikTok's like at like 65K. And yeah, one of the videos that like went the most viral, it wasn't even me talking. Like that's the thing. It's like a dice roll sometimes. It was like me standing in front of somebody else doing a video, and that video went viral. And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. So it's weird that like sometimes what ends up bringing people to your content isn't even necessarily your content. And then it's like, okay, now that I got them here, what do I do? So it's like kind of like showing them a little bit more of what your unique style is as well. Anyways, guys, I need a break. I just need to be able to breathe and take some fresh air. But let's just talk a bit about our experience as conscious creators using TikTok. You know, like how has it been helpful for you guys? Like what is your wisdom and insight as a conscious media creator on TikTok been for you guys? And I'd love to just be able to kind of like pull some insight out of that. Because again, as I've said from the beginning of these dojos, I'm here to learn with you guys. So like, as much as I'm doing this presentation, this is me taking a swing at it, man. This is me trying to compartmentalize a lot of information to the best of our ability so that we can put this on the table together. If you can learn from me, great, but I'm here to learn from you too. So let's learn from each other. Who wants to be able to just kind of like speak on this? Uni, I know obviously you've got a lot of experience on TikTok. Mellisa, you've got a decent experience on TikTok. Carley, you're still learning about TikTok. And again, there's a smaller group of us here today. So Uni, go ahead and we'll just kind of speak on this for a little bit. And then again, I'd love to just be even, if anybody has questions, not just for me, but for the group about TikTok. And then we'll kind of get into Instagram after that. But go ahead, Uni, welcome back to the dojo, and when you're ready.
Yes, brother. Thanks for having me. As always, beautiful space, beautiful space. Okay, so I'd love to connect to Melissa's questions in the chat. So you asked how do we avoid censorship so that we can reach more people? Specifically with TikTok, avoiding censorship, it's like, if you don't want to step on people's toes, then just, refrain from talking about controversial things. Also, like the V or the C or the LGB or like the whatever it is, just like refrain from that. If you're wishing to deliver your message efficiently so that it's digestible with ease and grace, and allowing that to really flow and be fluid to heal and create through the platform and through the channel that is you, like just omit that which it could be a path of resistance for other people. Just like allow yourself to deliver something that's really clean. And yeah, you already know what it is. If it doesn't feel like a 10 out of 10, you feel like you might step on somebody's toes about it, then just don't do it. Don't even do it. Don't even respond to the comments that are also maybe working in that way. I see people making full-on video series about one person's comment that they don't like. Like, just let it go. Let it go. So we'll leave it at that. Second question you asked, are we able to charge posts like we can with crystals, with intentions and emotions? Oh my goodness, this is like my favorite thing. This is like literally, this is how I blew up. I have been I just hit 200K today on TikTok. Woo! So my first post, I was like posting, like, hey, check me out. I'm on the farm. Like, this is organic this, and this is how you harvest this. That was like my first like 10 posts. And then I go to the park, and on Instagram stories, I had been doing this for years. I was like on Instagram stories, and I would do my overtone chanting where I would look directly into the camera and I'd be like, feel this energy. I was doing it for years. And then I was like, oh, that's what you do on TikTok. So I started doing that on TikTok, and right before every single post that I make, now to this day, every single post that I make, I hold my phone and I maybe I put it down or something, whatever the vibe is. Sometimes I'll even put crystals on it, and I'll grid it, and I'll like channel energy. I'm like, great spirit, mother, father, creator, like may this go to the people that need to see this, like allow this to be received in a certain way, allow any issues that were in my field be clean and clear so that it can really go to people's hearts. And so that's what I do. And yes, you can do that. There's also like, if you want to go deeper into it and you like magic, like that kind of thing, like magic with a K kind of thing, you could do like sigils, and you can do hyper sigils, and you can like make tones. And I even use the voiceover on my on TikTok, on the platform TikTok, and I use the voiceover on every single video, and I put little shh, 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 or I do light language like in the back, like you can't even hear it, but it's there, like it. So yes, like please do, because intention is everything. Like the spirit of the alchemist comes through with everything, whether you're writing something down, literally every comment everything that you look at can be a hyper sigil, intentional, transformational, transmutational action, and it's the presence of your mind and connection to your heart. So think with your heart, feel with your mind. I hope that answers the question. And as far as your last question, how do lives work on? And I'll just talk about TikTok because that's my main. So how do lives work on TikTok? It just like Brendon said, it's so organic and authentic and unapologetically you, and it's so nice and relieving outside of the super professional like niche that we can all get into a lot of the time. So it's really awesome on TikTok as far as going live. Yeah, it has the there's like different things that they just added a bunch of different sticker emojis that cost more money for the person. They added duetting on live, so you can like do a duet thing on live. You can have two people. You can basically just like instantly do interviews. And yeah, there's a couple little things about that. But I'll just leave it at that for now. I'll give the mic back to you, Brendon. I love you so much.
Thanks, Uni. Yeah, we can just kind of like popcorn style around. It's fun just to be able to like hit upon that in terms of like the censorship stuff, because I mean this is something I did want to be able to like hit upon at some point. But since you just mentioned it, yeah, like this is something that, depending on your content, again, you really have to just kind of like figure out like, well, what type of content am I looking to be able to share on Instagram? But we do have to be able to understand that we are in this world that is, again, kind of very polarized right now. So even though you may be passionate about sharing your opinion on certain charged topics, you really do just kind of have to weigh it with, is this worth it? And unfortunately, as much as it is kind of like a weird thing to be able to do, you may just have to choose to just kind of like not post certain things, not share certain stories, not do things. And the reason for this, and I'm not just saying, because, you don't want to piss anybody off. The reason for this is because if you do, and this is weird, like this is what we're in, and it's quite obvious now. If you do share certain things without me even having to tell you what that is, that go against the mainstream status quo narrative, eventually your account gets put in a category, and eventually your account will get suppressed, and this happens. So you really kind of have to pick and choose. And this is where, like in some cases it's unfortunate, because you see some people who are creating such beautiful, amazing accounts, and they're incredibly passionate and they're focused on really being able to help people, and then they share some polarizing opinions on certain things that we don't need to talk about here necessarily today. And then suddenly, lo and behold, like their account either gets like completely, again, quote unquote, shadow banned, or just like suppressed. or even banned or removed. Another feature within Instagram that they do for certain accounts that speak out on certain things, they literally like remove them from being able to find them in the search. Like there's certain accounts you can search them and it won't even show up. They'll still exist, where basically, again, they'll just kind of like put you into a little, without deleting you, they'll put you into a little tiny box and be like, here, have this space, do your own thing, but we're not introducing you to other people. So you want to get on the good side of the algorithm. And that's where, again, you know, it's important to be able to talk about the things that are important to you. But at the same time, there may be certain things that you know are quite polarizing. In those conversations may just be meant to be had somewhere else. But you can still focus on the things that you're passionate about. You can still focus on, you again, you know, just being able to promote like healthy living and healthy lifestyle without having to say, you know, in juxtaposition to XYZ or whatever it is, you know, like I think there's definitely a strategic way to be able to still focus on posting the things that you love without necessarily having to like worry about the censorship stuff. It is just, again, kind of like something that takes a little bit of balance, because again, even on TikTok, like I've seen awesome accounts get entirely deleted. And so especially if you're operating what essentially is a business for you through your platform, you have to kind of weigh that and be like, is this worth it? Is this worth the risk? And, you know, if anything, like, even if you're not saying it, trust that there is somebody else out there who is saying it. And the information is getting out there. It just might not need to come from you specifically, and thus have your entire page get censored, and then everybody loses out to all the other amazing things that you have to share. So even for me, like, it's kind of like, I know there are other people that are literally saying the things that I want to say, and they're posting it on their accounts. And to me, that's enough. And in the meantime, I'll just kind of like focus on just like kind of, you know, keeping my account like free, you know, free of any red X's or whatever. Cause again, like once those get on there, it literally could affect your business for the years to come. So you really kind of have to like pick and choose what it is that you're focusing on. But again, if you are talking about like health and wellness, I think there's a million creative ways to be able to focus on those topics without it coming off as a little bit, you know, gray, so to speak. So there's definitely ways to go about that. Mellisa, I know that was your question. If you wanted to even just like reply, we can just hit upon that just for a little bit. Cause yeah, like I've seen, there's been some TikTok accounts of my friends, like, you know, people within communities that Uni and stuff are in, where like, they're not really doing it as an entrepreneurial thing, but they're creating these like awesome TikTok accounts. And so they don't care. Like they'll just post whatever. And I've seen their accounts get like entirely banned, and not even just one account, but it like prevents them from getting on the platform again. So like what we have to do, again, as conscious media creators, you know, we're planting seeds, but we have to play the long game. I mean, it's up to you, right? Like everything I'm saying, like don't literally just do it just because I'm offering it as an idea. Do what feels right for you. If you're just like, I'm going to go out with a bang, I'm going to like spark some fire, I'm going to create some controversy and, you know, plant some seeds, go ahead, do that, try it. But if you're like, I want to be able to build something over a period of years still to come, you know, play the long game. And sometimes that just means knowing where and when to say certain things, but you can still build an entire business and foundation around focusing on talking about the things that you're passionate about talking about without having to trigger any censors. It's creativity, right? Like it's just like where the censors come in, creativity emerges. Find your ways around it without like intentionally. It's like a video game, man. It's like Metal Gear Solid where you're trying not to like alert the guards and you gotta like stay stealth and stuff like that or something. So deep cut there. Mellisa, I'll pass it over to you. We can just chat. If you got more questions, we can just kind of brainstorm on this, and then we'll go around a little bit more, and yeah, we'll just kind of play it by ear. Go ahead, Mellisa.
Thank you, Brendon. Yeah, I mentioned the censorship because I realized like ever since I got flagged in my stories I had posted a video in my Instagram stories of just me doing breath work and talking about the breath work and how it can help you do this and that within the body. And it got flagged for CDC information or whatever. And so didn't say anything about the jab. I didn't say anything about masks or anything. So that really like woke me up and made me realize, okay, we need to really be careful about how we present ourselves and the information that we do put out, because it feels like the deeper that we get with the information, like on a more esoteric level and how it can like, you know, help align the chakras and all of that, that's when I'm starting to realize I'm getting less views, I'm getting less people reaching out to me, and I'm reaching less accounts. And so I'm just like, this is really confusing because I have all of this beautiful knowledge to share with the world, but how can I reach people if I'm always getting censored for just sharing the truth, you know? And so I realized I had to like kind of step back and be like, okay, let's just call it stress relief. You know, we're just breathing for stress relief. We're not doing anything else. We have to keep it more like surface based versus deeper. So yeah, that's what I was kind of figuring out. And that's why I asked the question and open up the space for that, because I'm like, what do I do? You know? But yeah, I started posting on TikTok. I want to say it's been like about a year, a little over a year since I've started TikTok. And I originally started TikTok because Instagram, at least in my world, it feels a little bit more like I was saying, you have to be really surface with the information that you put out, especially with the heavy censorship going on now. Otherwise, people are just like, WTF, I don't understand. So I kind of started going over to TikTok because I realized that was a platform that I was able to be more of my true authentic self on. And for whatever reason, I just feel more comfortable being my true self on that platform. And so that was just like the place for me to really start being my true self in the digital world versus, you know, Instagram, where I'm just sharing, oh, breath work. This is, you know, where you can join me to do my one-on-one sessions. This is where you can do lives with me. Like all the information's on my Instagram. But TikTok is like that place where I'm able to really just be myself and put my real energy out there. And, you know, and that's what I'm finding is, like you were saying earlier, the more authentic you are in your content, the more authentic people you attract. And I'm really getting that more on TikTok than I am on Instagram lately. Because I feel like ever since that story post, I feel like I've been shadow banned. And I'm like, what do I do? How do I reach people? Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love this shirt too. It's a good reminder for everyone. Stay fluid. But yeah, so so that's kind of where I'm at with TikTok right now. And a couple of tips that I just wanted to share with the group that has worked for me is, for all of your posts, try adding captions to your videos that you post, because a lot of people nowadays are watching videos on their stories, on Reels, on TikTok without sound, because, you know, people are just flipping through while they're like in a waiting room somewhere, or they're shopping, et cetera, et cetera. So they're not really listening. So it's really good to add captions to your videos, because that way you're going to reach a whole extra layer of people in that sense. And then people who can't hear at all, you're going to reach people like that too. So it's really good to add captions. You'll reach a much larger audience. And then for TikToks, for content creating, one thing that I've recognized that's really helped me, like just boost my, like how many videos I'm making, is I'll usually sit down. I'm not just going to make one video. I'll make a bunch of videos and then save them all into my drafts. And then I'll have all of that content later for days that, you know, I'm not able to post every single day. I'll have something in the backup to be like, oh yeah, I'll just post that today. So that's really been helping me with staying consistent with TikTok, which was what I was struggling before. And then I figured that out. I'm like, oh, there we go. Problem solved. And then lastly, one of my tips that I wanted to share was to be really, like, of course, when we are scrolling through TikTok, we want to be really conscious not to get sucked into, you know, the constant scrolling. But I really like to go through, and I'll go through, at least my friends. I don't really like the For You. I cut myself off from the For You because it's literally like you can get so lost in it so quick. But I really like, if I see an account that I really love, I'll follow them, and then I'll check out their stuff later in my friends For You. So I'll go through that, and the people that I resonate with will usually use like sounds that I enjoy too. So it's always good to, like, when you're watching people's videos, if they're using a sound in the video that you think that would be cool for a video for you, you should save it, and then just keep, you know, always saving the sounds that resonate with you, because then you can go back and use them for your own content. Like, I have a whole collection of sounds that I haven't even used yet, just because I always save them for future content. So it's something that can help keep up, you know, your creativity and the consistency of making those videos. Yeah, that's all the tips that I had for now.
It's awesome tips.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you know, just this is why having a team of us to do this is important. Within like all the things that I listed of the difference between TikTok and Instagram. Yeah, like the music with TikTok is such a big feature, and the way how the trends work, you know, really just changes the way that the game is played there. And I know Instagram's kind of mimicking it, and they have their music and stuff like that. I haven't fully dived into, like, there's a lot of bells and whistles there that I haven't fully explored, but absolutely, as Mellisa was saying, you know, with the music, oftentimes, like, I think when we just explore, even if it is the For You or whatever, and we hear that music, oftentimes the music will inspire the video. You know, the music will be like, will kind of spark something and be like, oh, this is really cool. Or again, you know, like, what is powerful with TikTok, and this is where, again, it kind of, what I've done so far, I just kind of listed off like a lot of like, what are the platforms, but we haven't gotten into too much of like the tips just yet. We have, but again, you know, one of the tips that is so powerful with TikTok, and I did mention this briefly, but again, to be able to really like study what the other creators are doing, but to study them again, like within your niche, and to literally use hashtags to run those specific searches. So like even just hashtag, you know, spiritual, or hashtag, you know, meditation, or whatever the case may be, and find those videos that are quite popular, find out what hashtags they're using, find out what sounds they're using, find out what trends they're doing. And again, if you want to like mimic those, that's okay. Like, TikTok is a place to be able to embrace like kind of like this like mimic culture. And then again, those practices of kind of mimicking can at least help you kind of like get the ball rolling. That's what, even when I was getting started, I was like seeing these other trends, and I'm like, that's not that complicated. Like, I could do that. Like, I could personalize this, and then I do it, and then it's like, oh, boom, there we go. And again, also doing it in a way where it's tailored to what makes you unique, and kind of giving people a chance to know a little bit more about you, or to just add your own little style to it as well. But yeah, I think that's a great tip, just to be able to like save those sounds. And then if you're just like, I don't know what to do a video for, maybe just go through, look at your sounds, and be like, oh yeah, that was a silly video. Or be very specific with the videos you like. That way, so within TikTok, you can go through your previously liked videos, and like each video would almost be, again, kind of like you archiving something that may have an inspirational purpose to it, to me, that may be like, oh, like, that's cool. Like, you know, I can do a similar video to that as well. There are a lot of original ideas on TikTok, but I think, you know, like, so many of the ideas are, again, just kind of like similar things, kind of like mimicking and branching off of each other. Which is why, again, when you do land like an original idea on TikTok, it does have the potential to like really blow up, but it's okay if it is your style, just kind of like using similar trends that already exist. That's totally fine. So yeah, and again, in the censorship thing, that's weird that your breath work thing was like triggered by the censorship. See, that's what I mean, guys. Like, as much as I'm like, man, like we're in the same boat here, and there's a lot of stuff where I'm just like, I don't fully understand it either. But we kind of, what we do, like, what we almost have to like expect the unpredictable, like expect the unexpected. And again, to just kind of like, there are going to be times where we may trigger the censorship for whatever reason. But to the best of our ability, as much as you're feeling called to, try to avoid it. Because yeah, it definitely seems like it will kind of like affect, but even still, like, even if your account gets censored, you know, the people that you have gathered and the people that you have connected with, like, there's still a good amount of people there that you can really focus on that relationship, on building that relationship with, you know, and maybe the things that you wouldn't necessarily talk about on your Instagram lives and things, like, maybe those are the things that you really focus on being able to create like exclusive events around, you know, like tune in for the event that I'm hosting about the breath work that the CDC doesn't want you to know, or something like ridiculous, right? But you know, just like really using Zoom as like kind of like that place where it's a little bit more liberated for you to be able to dive into the topic. So I mean, if anything, you can almost kind of like play into the idea that you might be getting shadow banned or something like that, and kind of like offer that exclusive content in a platform that, you know, is a little bit more liberated. So yeah, let's keep kind of bouncing things around a bit more. And does anybody else have any generic questions about TikTok just before we kind of like move into, if we want to move into Instagram? And if anybody did have any questions, even just for Uni, Mellisa, and myself, and anybody else who might want to be able to just like talk on their experience on TikTok as well. And I'll just kind of use this, and then I'll kind of go through a quick list of like some general tips for like how to go viral on TikTok, so to speak. Uni, did you have any? Yeah, do you want to jump in? Yeah, again, you guys are helping just kind of direct the flow of the conversation here. So if there's things that you feel would be valuable for the people listening, tips for them to know that have been helpful, then please, by all means, go ahead and share. Uni, did you have something you wanted to jump in with?
Yeah, so just real quick on that last topic. Um, I had one video. Got taken down, and that was because I was using music that was it was I was able to use it in Canada, but I wasn't able to use it in United States. So there was some kind of weird, strange thing, and then I got a CDC for that. So, or CDMC or something, whatever it's called. But yeah, so like that's possible. Also, like there's another person who is judging your content in order to see if it's, on the edge or not. And if they have any doubt, they're just going to say, they're going to respectfully decline it. It's not like, they're out to get you. And on a spiritual level, I like to say, if you think that people are out to get you and, oh my goodness, they're shadow banning me, like that's what's going to more so occur in your reality on like manifesting 101 level. But like on a serious level with with TikTok, like just be consistent. Just seriously be consistent. Engage. Like I just had a video the other day, 1.7 million something views, and it's like I have commented like 1,000 times. Like I really, really love people. Like a lot of people say you don't have to comment, but I'm saying I love you so much. Like I'm really getting present because that's why I'm on there. Like it's not about the followers, it's not about the likes, it's about how many hearts are we awakening? Like how many people are tuning into their true essence? Like if that is your value, like Mother, Father, God, Creator, the universe is going to launch you, is going to get you into every person's phone that needs to be there, and it's going to connect you with awesome people, like how I found Brendon. Brendon's one of the first people I followed on TikTok, and I was like, dang, like this guy, he is literally like, he is doing it. It's like mic drop after mic drop after mic drop, and he's just there. He's showing up impeccably, and people recognize how you show up, because the most professional thing that you can do on TikTok or on Instagram or on any live is being present for your audience or for the audience. Is being present and embodying this heartfelt connectivity with that person and looking directly in the camera. We like to say that a lot, like look directly in the camera, offer them that sense of intimacy, that deep reverent devotion and connection to them and their heart and their soul. So I hope that flows things on.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Uni, and thank you for seeing me as well. No, that's hilarious to know that I was like one of the earlier creators that you followed and stuff there. And man, that brings me back, man. Simpler times back then. They really were, and I think we'll look back on those days and be like, oh man, kind of miss that stage where TikTok was like still this brand new thing. But again, I agree. In terms of like the shadow ban, I've had this conversation with other people before where they're like, oh, I'm being shadow banned. Oftentimes what people identify as being shadow banned is usually just a change in the algorithm. And so again, like regardless of whether even if you are being shadow banned, the solution is consistency, quality, and intention. Just really keep focus on that, because again, if you do that and you just, again, if you're speaking on crazy controversial things, then you're probably gonna get banned eventually. But if you're focusing on things that again are there for like good intention to be able to like awaken hearts and mind in a way that's not too controversial, so to speak, then yeah, just keep focusing on that. And the algorithm is again kind of like a reflection of this kind of like synchronistic law of attraction aspect of reality, where that's what I love about it. Like that's where I love using TikTok as this kind of like magical synchronicity machine, where you put something out there knowing that it will kind of like reach the right people at the right time. And even going back to like when I was like when I was on TikTok way back in the day, within the earlier months and everything like that, much like how Uni is doing now, 100%, like engaging with those comments is so valuable, in an authentic way, and using the comments as a way to be able to like invite people further, where you can just say like, hey, thank you so much for this. If you're looking for more, check out my profile link Feel free to send me a direct message on Instagram, and to like do it in like a sincere way. Like there's also, again, kind of like it's like a bit of marketing and stuff like that, but it is a real invitation. And the people who like feel that, they'll be like, oh sweet, like I'm definitely gonna check out your stuff. Because like honestly, some people, they'll probably like watch your video and they'll say like, this is awesome, but until you say to them, like, you know, like first of all, acknowledge them, thank you, and then invite them, be like, oh, but wait, there's more. They'll be like, I didn't know there was more. I didn't think to click on your profile link. I'm so busy until you reminded me. And that's where, you know, when I was using TikTok, I would reply to comments oftentimes and say like, again, say like, thank you very much. But then also say like, if it was a post about meditation, be like, oh, like we've got team meditations Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. EDT. The link for that's in my profile if you want to join in. And then those people will be like, oh, sweet. Like I got a personal invite from this person who I just, you know, really enjoyed their video. And then having that personal invite, they'll be much more likely to be able to just kind of like follow through. So that's where, again, you know, in terms of like building, if your goal is to like build community on TikTok, replying to those comments is so incredibly valuable, because again, you know, each one of those comments is a person, is a potential community member, is a potential client. And so just having that sincerity, even though it is just a text message, it's still in that digital space. It can still be felt. And that's where, again, you know, like you don't know how much that may mean to someone. You may be like a creator that they've been following for quite some time, and they really, really resonate with your content. And then for them to be able to have a reply from you on their post, that may make their day. It may be the highlight for their day. I'm sure even for Uni, you know, a lot of people, they look at Uni and now they're kind of like, they're seeing Uni as like this like icon. And I mean that in like a humble way, where they're just kind of like, oh, he's the sound healing guy type thing, you know, like, and that's beautiful. I think Uni's the perfect person to kind of like be in that position. And then for them to be able to get these replies from Uni, like that must, again, kind of continue Uni's mission of what we said, kind of just like opening up their hearts, and just that little thing, it makes them come back. So again, you know, how you make them feel isn't just what happens in the video, it's the engagement beyond the video. And that's where on TikTok and on Instagram, how are you developing that relationship? How are you developing that authentic relationship? And a lot of that relationship is like the comment interaction, is the direct message with gratitude, is the lives where you're talking to people and you're answering questions. Getting on lives on TikTok or Instagram is one of the most powerful things, especially if you've got like something to be able to, if you're like clear on where you're moving people towards, or if you're just totally just like, hey, you know what? I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm totally just here to chill out. And that's totally cool too. Because even in the process of just chilling out, again, it gives them a chance to be able to get to know you, to develop that relationship, to learn a little bit more about you. And, you know, even on some TikToks, you may even want to even just like kind of like jump on a lot, like bring them on live, like bring them on air with you. Like that's one thing I definitely want to be able to like do more on Instagram, is just kind of like, I've always had this idea, but it just hasn't really happened just time wise, where again, you know, I just kind of like hop on Instagram live and basically just bring people from the community audience onto camera and just shoot the shit with them and just kind of talk with them and just do that. And I think that idea is, again, you know, just kind of like one of the, there's so many different ways to be able to use Instagram and TikTok. And I think that's kind of the idea is, one of the things I always kind of used to think with TikTok and Instagram, I'm like, I want to use this platform in a way that no one else has used it before. And try asking yourself that question, and just kind of like you've seen what everybody else is doing, but what is not happening? What are people, how are they not using the platform, right? So that's where, again, you can start getting creative, where maybe it is kind of like something where they're like having their people on air and they're really just engaging, and they're really maybe, again, kind of like directing them in a specific question, in a specific direction, hosting some like really cool events, kind of like parallel and everything like that. It's something that takes like a little bit of meditation. And that's what I find. I find for me, like showing up on TikTok, like isn't just something where it's just kind of like if there are days where I'm like, okay, I got an event coming up, like, okay, I'll just hop on camera, I'll talk about the event, and I'm putting up a promotion about the event. But my best TikTok content, which again also becomes my best Instagram content, because essentially anything you upload to TikTok, you upload to Instagram. I feel like I should have said that earlier, but maybe I didn't. But again, that's very important, right? Because content is content. Unless you're just like, man, this is more just for the TikTok. But I find that my best content for TikTok usually comes when, you know, like I'm in a place where I can kind of like receive that download, like really meditate on it, really take the time just to be able to just kind of like ask myself, what am I most excited to create? Like, where does my heart really want to be able to lead me towards? And it's been interesting because, again, you know, like right now, like my life is just changing. Like it's totally different from what it was like months ago, where I was able to just kind of like really focus on TikTok, and perhaps in the future it'll be a little bit different. But for me, it's just like I don't feel like I like want to show up on TikTok unless I'm in a space where I've kind of like meditated on it. You know, like I want to be like very kind of intentional. And I mean, I guess I could just kind of like show up in a super kind of like casual way. And I think that's honestly something that becomes like a habit where, you know, like I think when you're using TikTok and when you're using Instagram, when you're in that state where you wake up and you think about what am I going to create today, you know, you get into this space where you're just kind of like, oh, like that's a quick idea. It's not a big production. I'm just going to bang it out, you know? But when you haven't done it in a while, it can be challenging to kind of like turn it on when it's been off for a bit, and then turn it on and turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. So for me, it's like my TikTok mode hasn't really been on as much. So for me to just kind of turn it on like that, like honestly, like I can, but I know what I have to do to get into that mode. And a lot of getting into that mode is the self work, is the personal work, is, you know, managing other responsibilities in my life, clearing the space for that energy to be able to come in. So again, you know, when it comes to creating content, don't force it. You can't force the process. You can try, you can brute force your way through it. That's definitely possible. But I think some of the best content is when we, again, kind of like move into this like receiving space where we just allow the inspiration to come through. We have clarity on where we're being able to move people towards. And again, and that, like Uni was saying, that clarity may just be like, hey, and this is, again, very much similar to me when I was making content as well, and still do, you know, where it's like, my intention is to like help people see the magic within themselves. Whatever that is. And that can like look like, you know, help people open their hearts, as Uni was saying. And if that's kind of like your goal, just kind of like use that direction to kind of like guide the idea of like, oh, well, how can that video serve that purpose? How can that video lead people back to the heart? Which is what we were talking about in the previous weeks, right? Like, what are we doing? We are leading people back to the wisdom of your own heart as well. So yes, yeah, again, that's just me just kind of like talking from my own experience. And again, that also goes from TikTok over to Reels and stuff, the video content and everything like that. I love creating silly videos. I love creating inspirational videos. I look forward to being able to do it more. And I'm excited to see that, you know, there's still a bunch of people out there creating awesome things. So we're carrying it together. It's not all on one person's shoulder. There's always so many of us helping shift consciousness, which is a beautiful thing. So let's just talk a little bit more on TikTok and Instagram. And Mellisa, did you already share your vital tip? Did that happen already, or is this a new one?
This is a new one that came up. So just regarding one thing that I wanted to, one thing that I originally thought would make content creating more easy is if I used one platform to create all my videos, right? And then I post those same videos, say I'm using TikTok and then I use the same videos and I post those on Reels. I've actually read that you want to avoid posting videos that you made on TikTok, that have the little flashy TikTok logo. You don't want to post those on Instagram because for whatever reason that automatically will cut you in the algorithm. For whatever reason, Instagram doesn't want you using any of TikTok's stuff on their platform, and vice versa too. If you were to download a reel from Instagram and try to put it on TikTok, it's probably not going to reach as many people. So I just wanted to share that tip. And it kind of sucks because, it's you make this one great, amazing video and you want to share it on all the platforms, but you made it already on TikTok and you can't that's where you have to pre-record everything. But then you also said, oh, it sounds like you may get more viewers if you were to create it directly in the platform's creator. So yeah, that was just one thing that I wanted to bring up. And I know Uni had something else to add on to that too.
Thanks, Mellisa. I'll just hit upon this real quick, just as a quick thing to mention. One thing that I played around with before, and I'll post a link for this into the chat, there actually is a website. I guess there's an app for it too, called snacktick.app. where you can basically like copy the URL from your TikTok into that website and download the video without the watermark on it. I've done this before because like I've thought that like, but that's the thing, right? Like I've had some videos where I kept the watermark on it and they still went viral on Reels. So I'm just like, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But the thing is when you download it through this way, the quality is a little bit less. Like it compresses it, so it's not, so that then you kind of lose like the HDness of like the original download. So it's like the other way to do it is to like screen record before you upload and then crop it, which is like a bit of a process, but sometimes that works. Again, it's kind of like you're experimenting and stuff, but I've definitely played around with that. And yeah, I think sometimes if you do just try to download with Snaptic and then re-upload that, yeah, I've done that before. And even within TikTok, like, like every now and then you can like repost a TikTok that you've posted from a long time ago and still keep the watermark on it. And it might still go viral again. It's kind of like a dice roll, but I agree. I'm sure Instagram probably has some sort of built-in AI mechanism where if it sees the TikTok logo, it probably doesn't treat it the same for its own reason. So it's like that jealous like ex-partner. It's like, oh, you're bringing in play with their TikTok in here, something like that. Anyways, Uni, go ahead. I'll pass over to you, and then I want to just go over some of the tips I have for like going viral, which is not even just for going viral. It's really just for like reaching people. But Uni, go ahead. Speak on this point if you had something to reply to.
Yeah, so with the reposting, you can do it just like Brendon's saying. You can totally do it. And when you are creating videos in either of the platforms, it loves when you use the stickers, when you use the native caption generator. Like it loves that stuff. Like I click on all the things. Sometimes I click on the things and I just throw it out to the sides, like just because I'm like, this is a powerful message. This is going to go out to thousands of people right now. Like there's no shame in the game. It's like if you know how valuable your content is, send it, or I like to say ascend it. Just fully launch it. Let it go. Like let it be, and play the game. You're already on the platform. Like you're a super magical multidimensional being, and you're on this super silly platform that's like designed to like push you into these little corners and boxes. Like work around the box, just play the game. You're playing the game. It's not like we have this cool decentralized platform for star seeds yet, so we're just working with what we have while we have it. And yeah, with that, I think that I could just like add a little segue into like a single tip. But like a really cool single tip that I have for going viral, like all my most viral videos are when I'm like looking right in the camera. I'm like really up close. I'm a musician, so I like need a little bit of space in order to like show the whatever I'm playing. So like I get really close to the camera and I'm looking directly at the camera and I'm smiling and I'm like, hey, what's up? Like you're right there with them. You're looking at the camera so that they like look directly in your eyes. And it's really like embracing. They're like, whoa. And then that video, having that presence as your foundation, be the first one to comment. Make that comment really impactful. That first comment, like they're going to pin that comment. I put like super powerful quotes of mine and I pin those comments to the very, very top of my TikTok videos. Cause I'm like, I know that thousands of people are going to watch this and they're going to witness this and they're like, whoa, my life is changed. Like I get hundreds and hundreds of messages a day of like, whoa, dude, like I didn't know how much I need this. Like you literally just saved my life. So trust in your words. It could be as simple as I love you. I have people that message back all the time and they're like, I've never been said I love you. Nobody's ever said I love you. You know what I mean? Like that's it. Like it's that simple. I'll leave it at that. I love you all so much.
That's so cool. Uni, we love you too, man. And that, dude, I love being able to hear your experience again, like as someone who has succeeded in reaching in all sorts of people and yeah, just learning what it is that's gotten you there is super cool just to be able to hear. And we feel humbled to be in your presence. Oh, great TikTok Uni creators. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I know I've kind of remember like even way back where it was like like other events that we've done where we like have all these creators, like between a group of us, there's like millions of followers. And meanwhile, we're like just these like kids like on this platform. We're just like, what? Like, what is going on here? Like, it's crazy. So, but again, man, it definitely shows the intention into your work. And I'm excited to see, again, you know, just kind of like the people you'll continue to reach. And dude, I think you got a good thing going. And so I think, again, you know, kind of like with the content, it's kind of like figure out what works for you, for your community, and then keep doing it. And change it up as you go, you know, change it up in certain degrees, but have like a consistency, have an aesthetic, have something where people are going to be able to become familiar and comfortable with what they can expect from you. And if you find something that, again, is sought after, then that is something that will continue to really just be favored within the algorithm because people will react to it. So just tips on, again, being able to create content that will reach more people. And this goes for TikTok, but it also goes for Instagram as well. And we'll just talk on this a little bit longer. We'll go a little bit past 6, and then we're going to have to wrap up the recording. So tips for figuring out, tips for like helping your content kind of like go more viral. So one of the tips is obviously figuring out your niche. We already talked about that, but then figuring out what topics are sought after. So again, you know, it's like, oh, my niche is spirituality. Well, what topics are people looking for? People want to learn how to meditate. People want to learn about the chakras. People want to learn about the third eyes. You know, in Uni's case, people want to experience sound healing. So again, you know, the video itself may not necessarily be a topic, but it may be an experience. People want to experience, you know, like things like ASMR, you know, type of thing. People want to experience being told I love you through a video, whatever the case may be. And again, you can kind of like play with that. But again, you know, like think if you were like a person who's interested in spirituality and you're brand new to this, what would you be looking for? And kind of like play with that question and write down some of those topics and then use that as, again, a kind of like a generated list of things you can move into. Or even if you're just thinking, you know, like, oh, maybe, you know, if I was having a bad day, what would I need? You know, oh, maybe it's a video that just reminds people to like take a breath and to really just kind of like bring them into the present moment, you know, little things like that. So again, you know, when it comes to the content you're creating, mix it up with like practical tips, offer them something, give them something that they can take with them, give them something that they can implement into an experience that they can do themselves. And also, again, when it comes to like the topics and stuff like that, definitely do your research. So if you are going to be speaking on like specific topics, obviously you can share your own opinion, but just be mindful of what it is that you're doing. Make sure, you know, if it is something that involves like a little bit of research, incorporate that into your video and even like include, you know, like images of websites that you're referencing and things like that. Take a little bit of time to, you know, at some TikTok videos can really almost be like little like mini essays in themselves. I've really done that. And like there are some TikTok videos, like I would spend like hours on them, like really just kind of like diving in deep and again, just really compiling a lot of valuable information all into one. So again, in terms of just like tips, watch other people's videos. Some of these I've already gone over, but I'll just hit upon them real quick. So watch other people's videos, study other people's videos. What are they doing? What's working for them? What can you do in a similar way while still making it your own style? Study the hashtags. What hashtags are people using? Pay attention within Instagram, or within TikTok, the hashtags that you use. They always show you like how many searches each one has. So include some of the big ones, and then at the same time, mix it up. Maybe mix it up with some of the ones that are not as big, because sometimes those get kind of like favored within the algorithm. So maybe like a mix of some big ones and a mix of some that are a little bit as big, but again, still relative to the content that you're creating. Don't just use like hashtags that aren't relative to your content. If your video doesn't have footage of a dog in it, don't use the hashtag dog. I mean, you could, like, I don't know, there's probably some weird loophole there or something. Just like Uni makes a video, it's a sound healing video, and just puts in like football, monster trucks, like tacos, and it's just like, try it, Uni. Get that entire niche audience there. People are like, God dang it, what's this? But then they stick around, right? And there's like, oh, this is gold. Anyways, excuse my accent. So yeah, look at what's going viral and mimic it. Keep going, keep experimenting. This is honestly one of the most important things with TikTok is experimenting. You try something, like honestly, like you create a video, and as soon as you create it, let it go. Just release it. Don't worry about the views. Like, don't worry about, you know, like whether or not it gets as many comments as you're hoping it would get. like you create it and then you just kind of let it go, obviously engage with the community in a way that's relative to what your post is about. But after that, you know, start focusing on what the next thing it is that's going to be, because that's kind of the thing with TikTok. It really is a bit of a dice roll. Sometimes your videos might, like, it seems to be that way. That's where, like, even for me, I'm like, oh man, like, okay, if I want to like go viral again on TikTok, I would probably have to do like a good like series of videos that would be kind of like, you know, less views, and then boom, and then one lands. But you almost have to, again, kind of just like create a little bit momentum. So the momentum that you create within TikTok and within Instagram is incredibly valuable, because it seems to be that way, where the more consistent that you're creating, the more likely it is to further your content into the algorithm to be able to reach people, which honestly I feel is quite toxic. I don't agree with that model. I feel like it really should just be, you know, like if people want to see your content, they should see it regardless of whether or not you've posted it in a week. That should be their choice. But in a lot of ways, I made a meme about this one time ago that actually went quite viral, where it was basically like a conversation between like myself and Instagram just through text on screen, where it's just like, I forget what I wrote, but more or less it was basically the idea where it's just like, hey, Instagram, sorry, I haven't like been around in a couple of weeks. And then Instagram's like, oh, that's fine. I hope you don't mind if I like, you know, like stop showing your post to all your friends. I'm like, what? TikTok, like Instagram, you can't do that. And we're like, fine, then I'm not going to, you know, it's like, you don't get to see, like, I'm not showing it to, I forget what I did. I'm butchering it. But anyways, it was basically mimicking the idea that like the algorithm is a very toxic relationship, where it's like, if you don't keep showing up, you get punished, sort of thing. And I'm like, whoa, like that's kind of, you know, not very fun. But at the same time, I think if you're posting, you know, in a regularly consistent way, which again allows people to just be able to see themselves as a presence within their routine, that's valuable. But it doesn't literally have to be every day. You don't want to stress yourself out just for the algorithm. But as much time as you're able to commit, if you can be posting every day, if you can be putting yourself into the IG stories, if you can be posting up on Instagram, then yeah, use that to your advantage. But don't turn it into a thing where you become like a slave to the algorithm at the same time. So that's where, again, quality and the relationship and the and the authenticity of your content is going to go deeper than the algorithm will. So yeah, and again, triggering emotions, stuff that I already talked about. So like find ways to really be able to like hit people in the heart, play with the mysterious, play with the intrigue. Yeah, really just finding new ways to be able to reach people on an emotional level, sharing your story, getting personal about it, sharing a story that they can relate to. It doesn't even have to be your story. It can be like a parable or whatever the case may be. Humor obviously as well is a powerful way to be able to reach people. Helping people, yeah, it obviously likes it when people rewatch videos. So creating videos that can be like rewatchable is good. If there's like something where it's got like a punch at the end, you know, they might want to like watch it twice or whatever the case may be. Yeah, and creating it as like something that's relatable, which I've already talked about. Aesthetics, good aesthetics is important, as well as good lighting. So having like good lighting that goes with your setting. Even if you're just like filming near a window, set your camera up by a window. That can be a great tip. There's a very beautiful thing that happens when you get natural sunlight in your eyes. It changes the color of your eyes. It looks very beautiful. Use natural lighting to the best of your ability. Yeah, and so you want to really focus on high watch time. So even, you know, some people play around with tips where they'll do things like at the beginning of the video be like, watch to the end, you know, or like it's like stay tuned for the end. If you are doing that, you know, definitely have like a good hook at the end or something of value at the end. Don't leave them hanging like that. But yeah, focusing on watch time is obviously good. Using a variety of sounds, using music, since TikTok is so sound based, oftentimes the sound that you use will determine like where it initially sends some of the content throughout the algorithm. So use some of the trending sounds to your advantage. And then incentivizing engagement. Again, you know, like commenting, inviting people to be like, comment if you relate, like comment if you're, you know, like a high vibe human or something like that. There's ways to be able, again, some of these tips and tricks, honestly, like I know they're like not the best, but I'm just kind of speaking more in general terms. But yeah, finding ways to be able to incentivize engagement, inviting people to be able to like share their thoughts, to share their perspectives within the comments, and then replying to those comments as well. Having that call to action where, again, the video itself may be a call to action to your profile link. to, again, connect with you further on Instagram, to a live broadcast, to an event coming up, whatever the case may be. In terms of when to post, this changes, but I think, just take a look at your metrics within your analytics that you can access on both. If you have a pro account on Instagram, and you can generally see like where people are generally like active. But at the same time, I know, like, again, with TikTok, like the TikTok algorithm is kind of different now, where like it doesn't automatically send your content out to people right away. That's where, like, I think, like, honestly, just posting, I don't know, this probably isn't the best advice, but I feel like you could probably just post at any time, and then it will probably just kind of like basically deliver things out over a period of the next 24 hours. That's my assumption. It seems to do that. So like if you post at 10 p.m., like it still won't actually deliver it until like 24 hours over a period of time. Depending, yeah, and Uni probably has some more input on this, and I'll pass it to you in a second. Depending on how strong the algorithm already is within your account. So if you got a lot of juice to your account, then I'm sure if you post, it'll probably like send out to a bunch of people right away. But if your account's kind of like stagnant, which again, for mine, like I'll like post stuff and like maybe it'll get like 200, 300 views. But again, like the way how it works is, and this is again, the basic of the algorithm, it shows it to a group of people, and then however many people engage and like the post there, it sends it to another group of people. And if more people like it there, it sends it to another group of people. So that's where, again, it's not even just like, oh, I hope it reaches people. It's creating content that will be engaging, that people genuinely will like, and then that's when TikTok continues to deliver it. So it is something where, it just makes it so that like the good content gets seen by more. But obviously there are going to be times where you're going to be like, man, like that was like super like cool, valuable information. But it might just not really reach the right amount of people, and it may just kind of like not really pick up on the algorithm. And sometimes it's just like, oh man, swing and a miss, but maybe you can repost that video to Instagram and it might pick up. Like I've had that. I've had videos go viral on Instagram that did not go viral on TikTok. So it's like, what's going on there? So again, it's just kind of one of those things where you really have to practice non-attachment, but really just keep focus on like the content that you're creating beyond that one. And mix in shorter and longer videos. So like have, some videos that are just going to be 15 seconds, really just like popping off, and then videos that might be a little bit longer, and then really just from there focusing on the watch time. So if you kind of like do these over a period of time, these basic tips, eventually like through consistency and through experimentation and through playing around and through presence and engagement and authentic relation between you and your audience, something like there will probably be a video that will really just kind of like pick up at some point. But again, like I think it's important just to kind of like not put too much pressure on yourself and to really focus on just like having fun with TikTok. I think TikTok is one of those places where it encourages fun. If you're not finding yourself having fun on TikTok, that's okay. Either come back to it another time, or maybe just kind of put your attention on some other platforms. And that's totally, totally fine. Some of these tips were actually tips that came through my friend Obvious, and he has a YouTube channel. I encourage you guys to go check it out. If you YouTube channel Obvious and tips on like how to go viral. Some of the tips that I talked about is stuff that I've learned from him as well. And he just did a good job summarizing that. So shout out to Obvious. And he's had a ton of videos that have gone viral. Yeah, that was like kind of like tips from stuff that was like, those tips are like, this is like a year old, some of these tips. So it's like, do these still stand up? And I think they do stand up. But again, the platform's continuing to change. So I think it's important that we continue to change with it. And kind of like what I talked about before, having adaptability as a creator is always super valuable. Okay. I want to be able to get more into like the Instagram kind of stuff, because Instagram is like, it's got some cool features with like, it's like how to use stories and things like that. But yeah, let's just talk a little bit more on the TikTok, and Uni, I'll pass it over to you because I think you had some insight either on anything I said, but also on like the delivery of the videos, I believe, on the time and stuff like that. Uni, was there anything you wanted to add into that?
Yeah, so what I noticed is that I'm in Hawaii time. So what I noticed is that, I'm connecting to Australia a lot, like that time zone, and I'm also connecting to the West Coast, because also that's where a lot of, like, mostly if you're in America TikTok or Canada TikTok, you're gonna connect to the people in your nation. Like that's just how it's gonna work. So like flow with that time zone. I'm kind of in a weird position where I don't want to wake up so early to like connect with East Coast people. So I post super late at night. I post at like 12 p.m. and all my most viral videos I've posted them like right before bed. So just trust in that flow. I had something else, but I'll just leave it at that.
Cool, cool, cool. Awesome. Yeah. Anything else? And we can just kind of go around a little bit more. Again, I know we're getting close to the end. There's just a small group of us here, so that's totally fine. Anything else anybody had to add in terms of like TikTok and maybe even some questions that you guys have, things that we still don't understand about TikTok or things that we want to just be able to learn more? Carley, has this been insightful for you as someone who is still quite new to learning TikTok? I'd love to just be able to hear your feedback on this. So go for it, Carley.
Yeah, this has been great. I feel like honestly, I'm still like stuck on, I don't even know what button to push to go live on TikTok. Like I can go live on Instagram. Instagram's fine, but like TikTok is still like, I just opened my account like maybe a couple months ago. So I'm like just kind of like, okay, where am I? What do I need to be doing? Like, oh, thank you. Welcome to my room. I'm super grateful to be here though. I feel like I learned so much, absorbed a lot in a short period of time, and can put those tips and tricks and then just kind of practice, like you were saying, Brendon, like and really everyone, like your first videos, you're just kind of figuring out how it works, like what you're doing, and then you kind of get your niche and then you kind of grow from there. So just like with anything, just kind of like that, trying to be patient in that process of non-attachment and just saying whatever I'm creating is going to get to the people I need it to. I loved the intention setting of putting the crystals on your phone and just saying like, let this reach the people that it needs to, because if we speak it into reality, it becomes a reality. And like the more we have those pure intentions and that idea that I love humans, like I'm here to help people raise their vibration and get out of that negativity and get out of that depression, that 3D world of anxiety and stress, and move past that and connect to each other on a different level and on a happy level and on a joyful level and on a healing level. So I think this space is going to be really good for me. Just kind of like where do I go next? So excited to hear more. I was just going to YouTube it, was like my next step was like, what do I do? So thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Carley. And just answering your question again with the TikTok live. So TikTok, you can only go live once you do have 1,000 followers. So like, and then once you like go into the mode where you're like filming a video for yourself, you would just swipe over and it would say live at the bottom. So that's probably why you haven't found it. So I hope that answers that basic question. But yeah, again, like, that's kind of like a little like milestone that you can work towards. And again, if you are up to the point where you have 1,000, usually it's again because like there is a community and the engagement. And so having that live is something where it's like, oh, cool, this is like really, celebration. Like I remember when I like first started on TikTok and I got that live, and then I was like doing lives like daily and everything. And I met so many cool people and creators. Like TikTok's been an absolute joy, and I've loved being able to use it because it's connected so many creators. Like Mellisa, that's how I connected with you. Uni, that's how I connected with you. Other people that have been involved in this, there's a lot of creators that I've like reached out to, and I've just been like, hey, I love what you're doing. We're creating like a team of conscious creators, and they're like, whoa, and brings people together. So there's so many different ways to be able to use TikTok, and it'll be something where like it'll be interesting to see kind of like what TikTok's going to look like in in a year from now. I think there's going to be a lot of new creators, as well as I think again there's going to be like a lot of like mature creators really just continuing to own their niche. So yeah, stick around. It'll be pretty cool to see where things go. Let's get close to wrapping things up here. And I appreciate everybody joining in. And I apologize if like, again, like this presentation was like a little bit, I don't know, like I didn't, I'm like hypercritical of myself and everything like that, but it's like hard to like talk about like all of these, like, it's a lot, man. Like there's a lot of like moving pieces and stuff like that. So I applaud anybody who's like jumping on these platforms, trying to figure it out. Cause I'm trying to figure it out too, man. And as much as I've been using these platforms, again, I can only talk from my own experience, but I think when it comes to like mastering them, again, I think it really comes down to mindset. It really comes down to like the emotional relationship that you have between yourself and the tools, and also again just getting clarity on like what it is that you're offering, what it is that you are bringing into the community, and using these platforms as a place to be able to not only explore what that offering may look like, but to be able to again get the feedback and to build the community, and to really just be able to, it's okay to be able to like figure it out as you go. You don't have to have it all just dialed in like as soon as you jump onto the platform. And again, I think it's important to be able to like use these platforms in a way where it does feel fun, where it does feel enjoyable, where it is something where you feel yourself kind of like leveling up each time you create a video. And just making sure that you have time for yourself, where you're taking care of yourself. Because I think when you're taking care of yourself and you're creating that space for yourself, like that's when some of the best content, the ideas emerge. That's when we get like those, like, you know, we get into those brainwave states where we're like, aha, that's a great idea. So I look forward to being able to, again, you know, when the time is right for me, really just be able to like focus a little bit more on Instagram and TikTok, and just kind of like creating more videos, even just on a regular basis and stuff. And I love being able to see the comments, and it's fun. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So anyways, sorry guys, I'm feeling a little bit tired right now. Let's get close to wrapping this up though. Anybody else have any tips or questions related to TikTok? And let's just talk about Instagram just a little bit more, and then we'll be done for today. And then anybody sticking around for a work period afterwards as well, we can do that. So, okay. All right. Well, in terms of Instagram, again, you know, like I think with Instagram, like we've really covered a lot here today, so I'm not too sure how much we want to be able to talk about it. But one of the things that I do find very powerful with Instagram is the utilization of the stories. The stories are definitely the place where people get into a little bit more of kind of like it creates a community space within the stories. And it's a space where people can really just kind of like, you know, like ask some powerful questions, prompt some engagement, let people know about the event without having to totally just like put all of their energy into like the algorithm. You know, like what's different with the TikTok stories is that regardless of what you post to the stories, if people click it, they will see it. Whereas with the main feed, they'll see it if they happen to see it, you know, if it happens to show up within the algorithm. But if you're posting into the stories and it shows up on people's feed because they've been checking your stories previously, which is usually what happens. If you check someone's content in a certain way and you check a few of their stories, then their stories will show up at the top of the Instagram as like some of the first that you'll be able to see. So when that creator that you really like has been posting onto their stories and you check it a few times and you check it a few more times, pretty much every other time after that they check it, you'll be seeing their content in their stories like right at the top. Like you can look through your stories and there's like a bunch of people that post stories that I don't even see. Like I never really scroll that far to the right, but there's a good like handful of people that I guess I check their stories quite regularly, and then it keeps delivering. So again, you know, like having the stories in a way where if you're not really sure like what your main feed posts are going to be, the stories is a good place to still continue the heartbeat, you know, to still continue the rhythm, to still keep them engaged. And they can be really whatever you want them to be. But I've seen some people really utilize stories in some pretty awesome ways where, again, it gets people into a relationship with that creator and with the stories, where they begin to understand, oh, every time I open the stories, there's going to be something valuable. There's going to be something that's worth my time. There's going to be a question. There's going to be a snippet of a new video. There's going to be another creator that they want me to be able to connect to. There's going to be an upcoming event. So I think just making sure that if we are on Instagram, definitely utilize the stories in a way, and even utilizing the stories in a way where, you know, we're just like giving shout outs to other creators. I think that's one of the coolest thing about the stories. And that's sometimes when I'm just like way too busy, I'm like, man, I don't have any new content today. I'll just like share something from one of my friends and be like, yo, check out their stuff, you know, So, but yeah, let's just talk a little bit more about Instagram, and if anybody has any particular tips on Instagram that they would like to be able to share, or any questions or anything about the IG stories. At Instagram, once you get to 10K, you get the swipe up on the IG stories. But even if you don't have the swipe up, you can still use like one of like the button things to like add a link, and you can still, or maybe you can, maybe it's only at 10K you can do this, but you can add like a link on screen that people can click. But that might not be for everybody. No, I think it's only for 10K. But either way, that's where, again, even if you don't have like the swipe up link, utilizing the power of your profile link is always super, super important. So you can always just say, hey, links in my profile, such and such. Okay, I'm just reading some of the comments. Did anybody else want to jump in with any questions? I'd love to get everyone's Instagram on here. Oh yeah, everybody go ahead and post your Instagrams if you guys haven't yet. And please feel free to connect with each other. So yeah, please, by all means, go ahead and post some, tag you guys, do the thing. What am I saying? Sorry. Anyway, okay, let's just talk on Instagram just for a little bit more. We'll put about just last 10 minutes on this, and then we'll close it up. And yeah, I mean, what did we master Instagram? Did we figure it all out? Like what don't we understand about Instagram, or what do we see people doing that we think is worth mentioning? Or do you guys have any other particular questions that you just want to be able to explore? I'd love to just be able to take a few more moments, or just any questions in general that we may have just in terms of like Instagram and TikTok. So yeah. But yeah, no, this has been a good conversation. I've definitely enjoyed just being able to hang out here with you guys and talking about the things that, again, we're passionate about, and I'm learning alongside you guys as well. It'll be interesting to see kind of like what the future holds for these platforms. And yeah, I think being able to, again, just surround yourself with other creators is such a powerful thing, because we're all just kind of like bringing our own unique style. And I think that's one of the important things as a creator, is to really just like celebrate your authentic energy that you bring into the platform. Like, what can you do that makes you stand out a little bit differently from other people? And the way that you do that is, again, by you being you, but also, again, in focusing on like what it is that you're bringing to the platform. What are you bringing to the community? What services are you offering? What value do you offer? Like it's okay if you're not entirely clear on that. But again, I think once you get a little bit clear on just kind of like how you might want to build your business or whatever the case may be, that's also going to help you with being able to figure out like what the value is that you're bringing into space. Kelsey, if you'd like to be able to share or ask any questions, please, by all means, I'll pass it over to you, and welcome back again. Go ahead, Kelsey, sorry.
All right, thank you. So yeah, I'm never on TikTok, but I'm going to get on just for the creativity part of it right now, to see what I can do more so on Instagram, and then maybe get on TikTok and post there. But mostly I'm doing Instagram, and I just have like technical issues right now. I just recently decided that I would really go all in on Instagram and try to get my message and services out there. And like one major question that I have that is technical is, on my stories, I can't get music anymore. Like, I used to post music on there, and now it won't let me like do any like popular music. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, I honestly don't really have an answer for that. I don't know if that's something where it might be like just like reinstalling the app, or it might be something that might just like fix itself in time. It might be something to do with like regions, but the fact that it was working and not working, honestly, my TikTok app right now on my phone is like barely usable. It's like super laggy for some reason. I think I have to like uninstall it and reinstall it, but it like upgraded to a new version. And there's been a few times where I've been using Instagram where features that I had previously were suddenly not working. Like, there was a period where my swipe up just wasn't working. And honestly, I was just like, it will probably fix itself soon. And then it did. It took like a week, but eventually it just like came back. So my hope is that the music will just come back. I know that's probably not like the easiest thing to be able to hear, but I really don't have like a clear answer for that, since that's like such like a back end thing. I don't know if anybody else has any insight on that. I haven't even really used too much of like the sounds within the Instagram stories too much. I haven't really explored that myself. Does anybody else have any experience on using sounds for IG stories, and maybe if there's an issue Uni, go ahead.
Yeah, so it used to be a lot easier, as you know, on TikTok, the same. And then like 6 months ago or something like that. It was different in timing for Instagram versus TikTok, but they changed the whole thing because of you using people's music, and like it became a big issue. And they started like they'll take down videos if you have your radio playing in the background. It's kind of like Twitch. You know, Carly. It's like it's really strict. It's like it's strict if you want to like play that game. And so with Instagram specifically, you can go in the stickers section and then there's a little music section and you click the music button, but the music is not a 10 out of 10. That music is so lame. Like you're better off with like if you type in instrumentals, like you really want to put a vibe in there for sure, but like the music is it's not that fun, it's like it's pop music and like there's some cool stuff. I like funk music, so I'll type in like funk and then I'll just pick something without any words, or I'll pick stuff without any words, and then I'll kind of just hide. I hide because I don't want to like I actually don't want to lead people to that artist because it's not like an artist that I would really want to be like, oh, this is my best friend. Like, yes, this person's legendary. They have an open heart. They're on point. It's like not my 10 out of 10 option. So I actually just take that little thing and I like put it out. I like put it to the side, or I put my text over that. And like, I have no issue doing that. And yeah, so that's my recommendation.
Thanks, Uni. Yeah, Mellisa, I don't know if that's like super, super helpful. If you can maybe just try that and see what music options there may be available through that. So that's like a music option, like it's like must be like an old music option or something that they just like didn't take out of the system. Have you tried using like someone else's phone, like, and even just like try logging in on someone else's phone? That may be like a way to just practice, like seeing if it's your phone or if it could be a device or.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet, so I'll try.
Yeah, because my assumption is that it's not like your account has been penalized. I literally just think it's a hardware, software issue. So my hope is that it would be able to fix itself at some point, whether it be through upgrading, like maybe it could just be the operating system on your phone, or it could be the version of the software, something like that. It might be a download, re-upload thing, re-download thing, but yeah. I've kind of like run into those things where it's just like, this isn't working and I don't know why it's not working. And then eventually it would just fix itself in like time. So I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I feel your frustration on that. So Kelsey, was there any other questions related to Instagram or anything, or TikTok and stuff that you may have?
No, I was actually going to ask about your Venmo account. Should I ask that now or later?
For my Venmo?
Yeah.
I do have.
Because you just have PayPal.
Yeah, I do just have PayPal. Some of you guys use Venmo. Is it Venmo? Am I saying it right? That's what the cool kids use. So, yeah, I don't have Venmo. I feel like I need to get Venmo. All I have is PayPal, so I'm not sure if that's kind of creates a little bit of a wall there for you guys. But Mellisa, if you can DM me afterwards, I'm sure we can figure it out, or maybe I'll just set up a Venmo in the next week or something like that, if that works for you guys. So yeah.
Call me Mellisa.
You know what? I noticed I did that, and then I like told myself that I did that, and then I just did it again. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. It's good. It's been a busy week, so you're both just awesome. That's why somehow.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
We're on overlapping here, so Carly, you too. So yeah, as long as I'm not calling Uni Carly, I'm sure we're still on track. So either or, it's all good. So hey, no, nothing wrong with that. So cool. Okay, let's just kind of get into some closing notes here. And anybody else just have any like closing, whether you just closing tips and or even just like gratitude. Was this helpful for you guys? Like, did you learn something? Like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like this is, I'm glad you guys had fun. I hope it was useful for you guys. I feel like I could totally do this again and it would be way better, but this was just practice for me as well. So, thanks guys. And just go ahead, closing gratitude. Anybody who just wants to be able to go around, please, by all means, go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead, Udi. Go ahead, Carley.
Okay. I get it. Nice. Boom.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so I just want to say, like, for anybody, because this is how I see this, you know, bro, you are recording this, you're uploading it to YouTube. Like, this is so valuable. You saw that recent retreat that I sent you, that I have a couple of my friends, some like entrepreneurs that I've worked with back in the day. Like, that retreat is completely designed around this 4 series of, like, it's the same thing. It's this, that your 4 series is probably more valuable of content, and you're doing it for free, my bro. So I'm just saying, like, this is priceless. Priceless. Like, so priceless, my friend. Like, so what I see is that anybody who is like looking or to like move their being forward, move their purpose forward, and create momentum, like, follow what Brendon is doing and create this community and welcome people in for collaborations to create that financial stability, and that like avenue of generating like wealth in a way that feels good for you. Because I sent this in a private message earlier. It's like, I really see us moving from the one-on-one thing, the influencer idea, into group sessions, ceremonies, online digital retreats, workshop play chops, master classes, and like in-person retreats, because like they're ready. Literally just us in this group, you know, like literally just us in this 5 would be a great team for hosting an in-person retreat. Like, I'm serious, and we have what it takes. And it's like, it's not that you need to be a master in your practice, it's that you need to show up impeccably and like know your value, know your worth, and be willing to offer that value unconditionally. Like, I ask myself every day, how can I bring value to these people in these situations that are occurring in my life? And what way is a 10 out of 10 to like really excite me and to really help deliver my true essence? And a lot of it is collaborating. I'm also a Gemini sun, and I just love people. My inner child loves playing. So working with other people like takes things to the next level. Like, I have like 300 unfinished music tracks, but as soon as somebody comes in, boom, it's finished, you know? So like, that's how I am personally. And I really offer that wisdom of let yourself free, because when you ask yourself, what value can I bring? The universe just makes everything flow really well, just like Brendon and his collective. And with that, be willing to accept and welcome and collaborate in the future. And when you have that, like, okay, people are going to come in, I'm calling these people in, it creates that space to deliver the big, huge package, the huge plate of light force that you're offering. Because when you have so much life force that you're offering, that plate is super heavy, and it's a wobbly when you're trying to hold it with one hand and take a little piece off and give it to every person. But when you have 2 people holding that plate, and each hand is passing off to each side of the table, you see how it like creates things a lot easier, and it distributes our tender heart presence a lot easier with ease and grace. So that's my tip of the day.
Uni, thank you so much, dude. And thank you again, like literally for all of you for being here so far with the dojo series. This has been experimental. I'm just like, you know, pardon me, I was feeling it. I'm just like, I want to do this. And again, like, why do I want to do this? It's like, yeah, I'm not really doing this because I'm like trying to like make money off of it. Like, there's like a ton of value that I'm doing in this because I hope it helps other creators continue things that I won't always be able to do. Like, I'm kind of like in this point in my life where I'm like basically moving towards a period where like, guys, I've been doing this for 14 years. Like, eventually I'm going to like disappear into the mountains and you guys won't hear from me again. Like, that will probably happen at some point, metaphorically or literally. So it's like, how do I pass the torch? How do I prepare that? How do I, you know, kind of like leave behind my knowledge so that you guys who are still like ready to be able to just kind of like focus all this energy towards it, keep doing it. And like I said, like, I'm at this point where, again, you know, it's just like, back in the day, there was like a handful of us doing this, but now it's like, oh, it just like relaxes me in knowing that like there's a giant collective of everybody helping assist with the shift in consciousness. So like if I step back, like it's not that much of like the momentum is still there, things keep going and everything like that. And so for me, again, you know, like this is me kind of moving into a new phase of my own personal evolution, where I'm trying to figure out like how I can serve community in a way where I might not be as totally there all the time, but I'm helping out behind the scenes. I'm helping out with like organizing and facilitating events and more from the producer director role. But I might not be always on lives, and I might not be always posting on TikTok. So it's been a real journey for me. And even with this dojo session, I have to meditate on what next week is going to be, because I think next week we're actually going to take a break from the dojo. I feel like next week I may just do a flow tree class. I may just do totally something that's just like completely just, let's just relax and just kind of like have fun, make music and jam. Cause those are like, for me, like this dojo is something where I'm like, okay, I'm committing to it, but there's like, it's important for me to be able to be like, well, what are the other things that I want to do? What are the other like fun things that I'm excited to be able to get back into? So doing the flow tree is definitely something I want to get into. Which is like our flow tree free jam sessions. And it might be like a members only thing. I haven't figured that out yet, but what we will be doing in the future for dojo is not only just getting more into specific topics, but what I'm also going to be doing is bring on specific creators. So there's already a few creators that I've already talked to that have like established community and kind of like, you know, created their viral content. Uni is even someone who I talked to about this briefly. And basically I would just kind of be doing like a Q&A with them, where it's like they're like I'm like co-hosting the dojo with them, and they're telling us about their journey as a creator, how they got to where they got, basically, you know, like what platforms do they use, what tips and tricks do they have, and then just kind of featuring these different creators as we go, and again just holding the space for us to be able to learn from each other. So that's what's ahead for the dojo. And one of the people that we do actually have scheduled for that is actually my friend Sharon, Share the Light. Some of you know Sharon, who is like super dope. Carley knows Sharon. She's going to be on September 9th. And then I've also talked to David, motivational speaker. He's also interested as well. So that would be another person that we would have as a host as like a featured person for the dojo. And then, to be determined. And then Uni, the space is open for you if you want to jump in for that too. I mean, 200,000 followers on TikTok, man. Like that's quite a journey to be able to get to that point. And that's huge celebration for you as well. And so stay tuned. That's what's going to be coming up for the future sessions of the dojo, based on my schedule, based on things changing, based on new things birthing into existence within my reality. There's going to be a lot of just changes on my end, but I'll do my best to just keep showing up the ways that we can. I do still want to have workshops that would be, again, basically like the Conscious Media Creator workshops, which wouldn't be the presentations, but those would just be like collaborative workshops, non-recorded. We've done plenty of those in the past. Those again are for like the Patreon members on my Patreon. So if you guys haven't joined the Patreon, you want to join that, feel free. At the same time, no pressure. If you guys just want to like send a little bit of money my way through PayPal, that's always appreciated. Or if you want to book individual sessions, that's always appreciated as well. And you can let me know which one works for you, and we'll figure it out. I'm pretty flexible with that either way. But yeah, let's just go around the circle a little bit more before I just get into the final closing notes, because we were just going around with any closing gratitude, and then we'll wrap it up and we'll hang out for a little bit longer after the recording. And thank you again to those of you who are listening to this in the recording as well. Mellisa, go ahead if you want to just share any thoughts from your heart. And thank you again for being here.
Oh, thank you. I just want to say thank you for everyone here for holding a safe space to be our authentic selves and to share all of this knowledge and wisdom. I feel so epically charged. I'm so excited to like leave the space and go create the best content that I absolutely can to reach all the heart-centered people out there. And I just wanted to say thank you, and I love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Mellisa. And again, for everybody here, just in terms of the creators who are with us here at the end. So Mellisa Baller on Instagram. So I'll post the links into the YouTube notes as well. Une Agape and Kelsea Empowers and Cosmically Carley. And the other creators, I'll do my best to be able to add in their notes as well. Any other closing thoughts and gratitude? Carley, do you want to, Kelsea?
Yeah.
I got it right that time. Go ahead, Kelsea.
This is such an overflowing cup filler for me. I missed last week, and because I was doing Reiki and I really wanted to be there. However, I'm so grateful that you're just continuing this and knowing that we will still be connected. Whether you go to the mountains or not, we'll still be connected. um, and well, I mean, like spiritually, you know. um, yeah, I'm very grateful for this space, and I receive a lot of value from this, and I will be sharing um, this platform. And what else did I want to say? Oh, I was like was teary-eyed earlier from gratitude, and I just wanted to share that recently I haven't been able to like cry from sadness, but then it releases from gratitude, and then I'm just like ready to just like release with gratitude. And the community is helping me just ascend, and Uni's music is just freaking bomb, and I'm excited for Friday. I don't know what time it is. I didn't I haven't looked at your page or anything, but I don't know, maybe you could drop that time on Friday, I think is what it is.
For Uni's event, or for well, we have the Lionsgate event with Uni and I are doing, and a few other creators. That's August 8th. So that's
Okay.
Sunday at 7 p.m. EDT. Uni's probably got all sorts of stuff. And then there's also the Portal event, which is the other community that Uni's involved with as well.
Yeah.
Was there something on Friday, Uni? Other than just some sort of...
Okay.
No? Okay. Was that what you were thinking of, Kelsey? The Lionsgate event? Probably?
Possibly.
Possibly? Okay. Okay, cool.
There's a lot of stuff you guys are doing, and it's
Lot of stuff
amazing,
going on.
and everyone should follow you. So that.
Everyone follow each other. So awesome. Kelsey, thank you so much. And I'm glad you're able to join in this week. And again, it means a lot just to be able to have you guys here and know that this energy that we're putting out is being amplified by what you guys carry with you into the content that you create. That's the most empowering part about this. So cool. Carley, do you want to share anything? You're more than welcome to, if you wish.
I'm just really grateful to be here. Can you hear me, guys? Okay. Okay, perfect. This has just been a great space, and I just feel like I've learned so much. So I'm just excited for more. I think next week Flowetry class would be awesome. Just something fun where we're playing around. Be great.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Carley. Yeah. And again, feedback from you guys in terms of like, you know, if you have a specific topic that you'd like to be able to offer as a suggestion for a dojo in the future, please, by all means. I mean, we've hit upon like some key ones. Like there's definitely stuff that we've talked about that is great for getting started, but there's other topics that I had that would just kind of like delve deeper. But again, you know, before we get into those topics, I just want to be able to kind of like gauge where the community's at, you know, just to be able to kind of like feel how many people are interested in the dojo events and everything. Cause I think some of them are going to, you know, require a little bit more attendance just to be able to get more of the group wisdom sharing going around. But yeah, I'll keep brainstorming again, future dojo sessions. And I think having those ones with specific creators will be great. But this is again, kind of like the conclusion of what has essentially been like a full month of dojo, like 4 weeks. That's awesome. We committed to it. We fulfilled it. And there's a lot of knowledge that came out of this. So for those of you who are listening to this in the future, thank you. Thank you for receiving this wisdom, this insight, this inspiration, and for doing what you can with this knowledge to be able to carry it forward into the community. And again, like going back to the why that started us, like we're doing this to be able to assist with the shift in consciousness. Like that's it. Like that's, you know, and that's on a personal level, that's on a collective level, the communal level, the galactic level, however you want to look at it. And as Uni was saying, I think what happens beyond here is the very exciting aspect of collaboration. And that's where, you know, like, if anything, like I want to really just be able to continue to open up the dojo doors just to really be able to create that space for brainstorm and collaboration. So, you know, like literally just have a dojo that, whether it's a recorded or not, just say like, hey, if you are looking to collaborate on anything, like come into this space and we'll all kind of like partner up and figure out some collaborations and stuff. In the meantime, we do have the Discord server. We do have the dojo Discord server. You guys are welcome to use that. Honestly, creating that dojo Discord server was a bit of an experiment. Hasn't been that active, and that's totally okay. Like I didn't have like an emotional attachment to it. I basically created it again as a bit of a convenient way just to kind of like keep things all in one place. That dojo place, we can still use it. Those of us who are in there, we can still use it just for collaboration. But essentially what is in that dojo space is also in our Paradigm Shift Central core server as well for our leading members. So we'll probably just be focusing more on the Paradigm Shift server since that's where things are already built up. But we'll still have the dojo server just as an auxiliary place for the community. And again, just as kind of like a landing page for people who are just getting involved and everything like that. But in terms of like future collaborations for a lot of the conscious media creators, yeah, I definitely want to be able to again, just focus more of that back into the Paradigm Shift events and yeah, just creating more of those non-recorded workshops where we can come together and you guys can, again, just kind of touch base with me and brainstorm with myself and other members in terms of what it is that we're creating. And yeah, we'll wrap it up here. There's not too much else that I need to be able to mention. Again, please feel free if you guys want to contribute to my PayPal, even just a single contribution. The links for that are in the info for this video. That's always appreciated, even if you're listening to this in the future. If you've like listened to all 4 of these sessions, by all means, feel free to send any money on PayPal. Again, it's an energy exchange and it's always appreciated. And it just goes right back into serving the community and helping create the future that we got ahead of us. And even if you're not in a situation to support financially, please feel free to just tell a friend or, as we've already said, create content, create value. Like it's okay. Like you focus on what you need to do for you and we'll just keep rocking it here. And whatever form of support you offer is all equally appreciated. And if you guys want to join on the Patreon, please feel free to join on the Patreon. That's a monthly membership. And if you guys want to book online one-on-one sessions, please feel free. Or if you guys want to like fly me to your location for an in-person session, I don't know, sure, we'll do that. We'll come on down to Hawaii for Uni's hosted retreat that apparently we're all hosting. So, okay. All right. Yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much, everyone. The recording for these are on Spotify and Paradigm Shift Radio. And make sure you're subscribed on YouTube, Skull Babylon. Join the Paradigm Shift Discord server if you haven't yet. Tell your friends. And yeah, let's do a quick screenshot. I was going to take a screenshot earlier from the start, but we'll just do a quick screenshot just with the end of us here. So quick screenshot from the things. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. Lots of love. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. All right, we'll put that into the post as well, and I'll share that with you guys if you guys need be. So, yeah, that concludes this dojo session. We'll stick around after the recording just to be able to kick it for a little bit. If you guys got any additional questions, we can do that. But for everybody here, please join me in just saying thank you and farewell to all the beautiful people who listen to the recording of this. So feel free to unmute yourself and say, thanks, everyone. Thank you, fellow conscious creators. Go out there and kick some butt. You're changing the world. We love you.
Love you.
Love you. Aloha. Mwah.
Guys, bye.
Awesome. Thanks again, everyone. Much love.